Harlan crying, "They shot the president."
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. In celebration of the fact that I had to shave my beard off because I face planted in the ice to get me out of the ice.
Ta-da.
I had to wear the hoodie of shame. I'm live on YouTube. Nice.
Yeah, it just kicked in. Oh my
Hey, Lag, tell your mom, beard or no beard, I'll be there to rock her tonight.
god.
John says, "No beard, only a porn stash."
Yeah.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny.
Okay, it's too hot. It's too hot.
Yeah, you're hot. Uh-huh.
So do y'all want to hear the story of how karma face planted me in the ice?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Chasing
All right,
Joni around with a rat or something.
So here's how the story went this morning. So the last three mornings we've woken up, and Joni's little trap, she had killed two mice, one in each trap, and so I disposed of them. Well, I looked at those spaces this morning, and I'm like, well, damn, 6 of them down, no more mice. Good. Joni gets up a little while later, and she's like, "Did you jump out on the traps?" I'm like, "Yeah, I checked both of them." She goes, "I put another one out." I'm like, "What do you mean you put another one out?" She goes, "There's one right over here." "Oh, look, there's one on it." I'm like, she said, "Can you throw it away?" I'm like, "I really don't want to kill it. They're kind of cute, but they're killing everything." I'm like, "I know, they got to go. They're destroying the trucks. They're destroying everything." And I noticed he was still wiggling. So I'm like, "Oh, he's still alive, Joni. I don't want to see it. Don't tell me about it." So I pick up the glue trap and I start chasing around the kitchen with it. I'm like, he wants to say goodbye. He wants to say goodbye. Okay, so after I got tired of her squirming and yelling, I'm like, I don't want to make sure he doesn't stink. So I'll just go throw him in the trash can and the big green monster outside. I took one step outside where the ice had just been dripping off of the roof of the house, and it was pure ice. Next thing I know, I am looking at the concrete like this.
Oh,
I hit right here.
oh, God.
Oh my god, that hurt. And so I've been taking Advil all day. Shoulder, both elbows, both wrists, knee, everything hurts. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Might be worse tomorrow.
So that's how karma threw me on the ice. Karma said, "Don't chase your wife around with the mouse."
Yeah.
Just like that. What a bastard karma is.
These fucking mice, man.
So then she has me take her to Trader Joe's. And then we get done with Trader Joe's. Well, first of all, who do they think they are blocking the highway? Do they think they can put little cones up and keep me out of the highway?
Little cones.
We drove around the cones. We went to Trader Joe's. And then we go to Walmart. It's the Walmart. It's one of the Walmarts you go to in the daytime.
Yeah.
You can tell the quality of the Walmart whether they got the little silver things that only let you go one way. So this one most of the time has armed security.
Armed?
Oh yeah, I told Johnny. Yeah, a couple of the WalMarts here, at least one of them has a substation, a police substation in it. I told Johnny, I'm like, be careful. Where you have me parked, there's ice. I said, hang on, getting out of this truck. I look over there, and she's got a hold of the door in the seat, and she's doing a split over there. I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, I'm like, you cannot fall because I'm not spending the next 7 hours in the emergency room. Why they? So yeah, that's been our day.
Freaking Mauschwitz.
Oh yeah, I'm building the mouse traps. It's just the ice will be gone here Monday. So tomorrow, I think the high is The high is ridiculous tomorrow.
They'll be hungry.
Tomorrow's high is 22. But then Sunday is 36, and then it's 47 Monday. They finally started plowing the streets, so we can kind of get around. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of black ice to go around in the morning, so I'm just going to the post office and back tomorrow.
Man, it's rough here. I can't even stand this weather, dude. It's so cold. 63. It's tough.
We'll have -2 tomorrow night. About 24 hours from now. Right now, it's as warm as it'll get.
Yeah, we'll be 8 tomorrow night.
That'll be our coldest yet for this whole cold snap.
So I started book number 3 for the month of January. For those of you playing on the home game, my goal is with you guys 1 business book a month. I'm doing 3 personally. So I started Gary V crushing it 2. And so I'm about a third of the way through that one.
Did you finish the Never Split the Difference, or is that not one of the ones?
I haven't started yet. That one's going to be the first week of February. That's next. I'll do it next.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
because it's only mid-January now. We still got 2 or 3, probably 3 weeks before that one. Give everybody. So if you're wanting to catch up and do the books with us, beardypicker.com, and there's a book list on there if you want to see which ones we're doing. We're currently reading Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss. I am terrible at negotiating. If you watch any of my yard sale videos, you'll know that already. I'm awful at it. And so that's the premise of this book, is to become a better negotiator. It's a skill that we can all use in life. And everybody thinks about it just for like getting deals and stuff. But I think I've got a feeling it's going to be a lot more negotiating, a lot more things in life versus just a deal at a store.
Yep.
So
he's a crisis hostage negotiator.
Yeah. Hey Jennifer, what's up, dear? So the Audible version of Voss' book is free on YouTube. Okay. Well, then hell, I might start it sooner then. I have YouTube Premium, so I can listen to. I wonder if it's in YouTube Music. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So we got the usual suspects. Let's see who's with us today. Swamp Glenn, what's up, man? John Carney, no, it is not a dry January. White Tree Sales, please come get your weather and take it back. Jovial Juggler, flip it good, and flipping ain't easy. Tracy, have you even left the house yet, Tracy? What the hell? I've been all over. Have you?
I've been everywhere, man.
So last night I turned into a pimp. Last night, remind me to tell you the pimp story. Tactical Z, what's up? Chastity, good evening. Lag and his mom, what up? Sean. All right, Robert. I need to be with Larry. Larry seems to be enjoying the show now more than the rest of us. Howdy, Steven, Rhonda, Maggie. Have I got everybody? Miss Patricia and Miss Ping. All right. Hey, Mike and Tom. All right. So I am out and about yesterday. I drove to the Lowe's to buy mouse traps. And then when I was there, I went to the Walmart by there because she wanted something. And I'm coming back and I'm like, I get almost home and I'm like, these roads aren't that terrible. Let's drive to Harlan's just to prove I can drive to his house. Because when he told me the story of leaving his house on Wednesday, he all puckered up and all this stuff and thought he was going to put the truck in the ditch and all that. I'm like, it can't be that bad. So here I am. I'm making my way over there, and I call him. I'm like, man, these roads aren't that bad. I said, they just plowed one of them. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, 2 miles from your house. He's like, how bad's the big hill? So to get to Harlan's house, he lives at the bottom of a hill, so you got to go up the hill, and it's kind of at an angle. You got to go up and over. Hey, Ghost Picker, what's up, man? I wish I was stoned and lit. I need to be.
Oh yeah, we should work on that.
Y'all are not getting stoned without me, damn it.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna try. See if I can do this.
He's gonna try.
I've been sick, man. I haven't been able to smoke much weed because this fucking cough.
God.
Friday night, gonna feel all right.
All right, so back to the pimp mission. And so I get over there close to his house on the road he lives on. The one so you don't know, Harlan and I have they're nearly identical trucks. He has a 2013. He has the 4-door XLT. I have the two-door, two suicide door XL. So mine's the base model. But if you look at the trucks, you've seen Harlan's big red truck. He's got the big wheels on and everything. And you look at it and you think, look at Beer's truck with a camper. You would think mine was the 2-wheel drive and his was the 4-wheel drive.
No.
You would be wrong. You would be wrong.
Smoke and mirrors.
Harlan's a fake redneck. He has the big honking truck, and don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful truck. I love his truck, but it's a 2-wheel drive V6. Big Al sitting out there is a 4-wheel drive with a V8 on it. So there are differences in the truck. So that's why I was going to prove to him I can get to his house. Well, I get to his house, and the next thing I'm like, "You've been in trouble. Do you want me to just take you over to your girlfriend's house? He's got a 4-wheel drive. You can figure out how to get back home tomorrow." So, but I told him, I'm like, dude, your truck can't even make it through this because once you get over the top of the hill, you can't. So here's the truth: when you're looking at from one side of the hill, it's all white, but when you crest the top, it's all melted and fine. The part where he had trouble with is fine now, but he can't see it because he's looking from the bottom side. And so we get halfway there, and he's like, "Yeah, turn around and go get my truck." So we go back and get his truck, and so I actually met the future Miss Tyree. She's extremely nice. I can see why he's they're a good match. But yeah, definitely fake redneck. Harlan. Okay, Harlan is a sophisticated redneck. How's that?
Right.
So that's hey Bama, what's up, man? Came over from Flippin' Ain't Easy.
Uh-oh.
You're only about 50 miles from here, Bama J Bird. Mr. Josh, you're yeah. We'll play. Anybody?
I thought Alabama was closed to new resellers. What's this new Bama kid?
I don't know how he snuck in here. Bama is the worst place to resell. It is closed to all resellers.
Yeah.
In order to move here, you must get a reseller license in order to move here, and I'm not issuing any because I've elected myself the czar.
Lag, those are all Girl Scout cookies back there.
So turns out, Harlan had the neighbor. She lives like 2 blocks from his house that he sold a couple 3 years ago, and that neighborhood has a yard sale every year. And he was gone. He was out of town. He was at the flea market, and so I went to that. We normally go together. I went to that neighborhood. So I actually met her because she had a yard sale during the neighborhood thing, and I bought something from her. And I did not realize. I mean, they were. I don't know if they weren't dating at the time. I don't think, or if they were, I didn't know it. So that was kind of strange. I'm like, I remember stopping at this house. So yeah, there's that.
Cheers.
So that's all I've been up to. So
Cheers.
one thing I'll tell you folks is there's stuff to sell everywhere. I was drugged against my will to stores today, and while she shopped, I found stuff to resell. So and so John, I don't like your plan. I think Amazon is terrible. I don't think you should try. Amazon has already messed with you 2 times. You shouldn't give them a third time. You just stay on eBay and do what you're supposed to do on eBay. Everybody, 2 out of 3 on the panel, 3 out of 4 on the panel up here would tell you that Amazon is terrible. You can't sell anything on Amazon. Todd doesn't know Amazon, but the other 3 of us do, and we don't sell on Amazon no more.
I didn't sell anything today, so must not be working anymore.
Okay, I sold stuff today, but I didn't like it. So John's got a good plan, folks. So I'll just pick back on what he was starting to talk about. I will caution you about Amazon. If you're a person that can follow the rules and doesn't let and doesn't mind, you're going to give up some control. Understand that if you live in eBay and free returns bother you, you will never make it as an Amazon seller because you're required to do returns on Amazon.
Yep.
That other guy, who is this going to be? Oh, yeah. We'll just stick him on here and see who it is. Oh. Jay, could you come get your damn weather?
Oh,
I don't do
Jesus.
ice and snow. I don't do good. I tried to kill myself today.
Oh, man. It's bad. I mean, but we've got the wind to go with the ice, and we had 24 hours without power, and then it came back on. We had 2 hours with internet, and then it was out for another 12 or 16. So yeah, shipping's been fun.
And so Jay would also tell you that Amazon sucks, that you can't sell there. Please stay away.
Yeah, go away. Don't want to do it. Not worth your time.
Because here's the return policy on Amazon. You can make up your own return policy on Amazon. They don't care. They have one rule with your return policy. At a minimum, your return policy must match theirs. Amazon offers free 30-day returns. You must you can say 60 days, you can say free for the year, but you can go no less than free returns for 30 days. So if you've decided that you want to try your foot at Amazon, but returns bother you, there you go. So
there's the window and there's the door.
Well, and the problem I had this year is they didn't follow their own policy, because
they never did.
November 1st is when the extended period starts.
Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing. On November 1st, you have to cover all the way to January 31st.
But I had a bunch of Halloween stuff that sold around the 20th, and they kept on denying my safety claims because they said it's within the return extended window. I'm like, no.
So when is the 30 days? Does it begin when they receive? I need to read their policy again. If it's when they receive it or when it's ordered. I think it's actually when they receive it, Jay.
Well, it doesn't matter. They were Halloween items that I was having an issue with, so they were received before Halloween.
Did they actually return them, though? I mean, that's what I've noticed is, like, I've gotten a lot of returns lately, but probably 60-70% of them, 2 months later, I'm getting reimbursed on the backside because they never fucking return it.
Oh, yeah. No, I have a ton of returns that never get fulfilled. They never do it.
I mean, it sucks. The money's tied up, but you really don't lose. It just takes longer to get your money back.
And one of the first time I ever had one, and I don't know how they were allowed to do this, and it's interesting. I had something go to Alaska. It was a Halloween item. They used it, and then they put it back in the original packaging, taped it shut, and then put return to sender on it like 45 days later. And I'm like,
that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
So Tom says they're getting lake effect snow in Michigan, off Lake Michigan. I wouldn't live there, dude. My dad's entire family's from up there. My dad was the first one to go. He went into there. Okay, so my grandfather was one of those. You know, once you turn 18, once you graduate high school, you're on the clock for getting out of the house, which makes no sense. So explain to me how the greatest generation, wanted to kick their kids out of the house as soon as they turned 18, but yet this was a farm and you worked them like slaves up until that day. Does that make any sense?
No.
Am I just that soft? I must be that soft. So my dad went to Air Force and never came back. So we went back to visit in the summer because there was no snow in the summer. I think we went one time in the winter and got snowed in up there, and we never did that again as a child. So yeah, you can keep Michigan this time of year. I will whine, cry, and complain about the week of snow that we get every couple years. Or ice. This actually was ice. So if you didn't hear the other day, it sleeted for 3 hours, and then it snows for 8, and then it sleeted for a few more. So we have an ice sandwich, and then we only have like 2 salt trucks for the entire county, and so this is how dumb. Okay, so sometimes Southerners they think we're stupid. So the commissioner of the roads or highway comes on and tries to convince people that, and he got Harlan, which damn it, Harlan. They were trying to show you that scraping the roads just made for black ice and it made it more dangerous. So they really shouldn't scrape as many. And I'm sitting here thinking, if you scrape them, you get the ice off. When the sun's up and it's beaming for like 6 hours, it melts that shit away, you dumbass. But yeah. So they finally started scraping today, and imagine that all the roads are pretty clear today. Yeah, so Rain Galore, I'm going to screw your name up, Rain. I apologize in advance. Yeah, I'm out with Michigan. I'm out. Y'all can have it. I love my family up there. I'll see you this summer.
Snow's that stuff you go and visit, right? Like,
I don't visit snow. What
is snow?
As I've gotten older, cold weather hurts my hands and feet a lot more than it used to. Feet. My feet. Yeah, it's like. All right, so Ghost Picker is going to interrupt this program with a serious question. My last estate pulled a mini Riddell Patriots helmet signed by Tom Bledsoe and Drew Brees. What would I do? So Ghost Picker, I would want to know what's the value of it. Is the value of it worth getting the signatures authenticated? So what happens to the value of it do you have a COA? If you don't have a COA, what is it going to cost you? Isn't it worth the investment in order to get them authenticated? And if it's not, you just sell it as it is, and explain to them that it came in an estate sale. Chances are better than not that it's good, but you don't have provenance on it, and so that's what I would tell you. Is it worth the investment? The Bank of Real? No, there are folks out there that authenticate signatures, especially in sports memorabilia. That's a big market.
Yeah.
Who to look up? I'm not that person, but I know you can get it. So what is this man P? Yearn from a male human.
Animals, skunks.
I missed that, and I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I don't use. You don't want to know.
See, Ray, you're messing with a Southerner by talking about it's like Gall Oreo without the E, and now I'm supposed to Gall Oreo. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Don't mess with the Southerner. We're not the brightest. Come on. Everything has been shut down here. It started snowing, so this is what it looked like. I think I showed this picture. Let's pull up a picture.
But what I really want to know is, did you get your bread and milk?
I have not had a milk sandwich yet. I'm very disappointed that Joni has not made a milk sandwich. I think she's losing her touch. This is not the right picture, but Franklin said, "This is how I sleep my manhood to the air." Franklin sleeps. He's like, I have to air out the Baby Maker 3000. So I drove 30 miles to the auction, pulling the trailer behind the truck. I'm in full-time four-wheel drive. I'm in tow mode on. And when I get the Tennessee, I'm the only one there. I'm thinking, did I screw up? it's 10 minutes to 7. I'm the only one here. And finally, about 10 after, John, the guy who runs the place, John's a great dude. John shows up, and I'm like, man, you had me scared for a minute. Did I miss an email? Because I've been known to show up here and be the only one. He just started laughing. He goes, no, it took me longer than I thought. He goes, John's a big fella. John goes, I had to go 3 places just to find a biscuit. I started laughing. I'm like, all right, John, I'm gonna unload this and get out of your way. And so for the first hour I was there unloading my stuff, I was the only one there. And then finally another guy called and said, hey, are you there, John? I'll be there in a few minutes. And John goes, how about that? One of the few Northerners around here. He's going to be here. Imagine that. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm fixing to want to. No, so Johnny plans weeks at a time. So she had some kind of chicken and bow tie pasta, buffalo chicken pasta tonight. She made, what kind of soup do we have, Dave?
Oh, white people chili?
White bean chili. We had that the other night.
I picked it too. I just had it the night before.
Yeah, we had it the same night. So I've had that 2 nights, and so the Jake night, she made something else Monday night. So she makes something that we eat every. So we have not had. But I was at Walmart today, and the bread aisle was wiped out. The flour and sugar aisle was wiped out. There was not a lot of milk there. Coconut ran all week, so there was some very few drinks there. Coke or Pepsi, nobody had run all week. So Walmart. So the South is our post office open day for 3 hours for the first time since Saturday.
What the hell, man?
And they're not delivering any mail until Monday at the earliest. But they're taking packages, so I dropped all my packages off. So Jason told me. So this is the good thing about going to the post office, folks. If you go, you at least hear some of the stuff. Jason's like, yeah, we haven't had a truck leave Huntsville since Saturday. So all the mail that if you got it to a post office, everything has just been at a standstill. I went to UPS to take 2 items. He's like, yeah, we had 4 trucks go out today. He said that semi leaving there is the first one to leave since Friday.
Our post office was open, standing in the dark with no power. They would take your stuff. They can't scan it, but we'll stand here in the dark and take your stuff.
Yeah, they're not supposed to close like that.
No, she was there all day with no power. She was there all day. We didn't go down, but she's like, yeah, I was here all day.
But they didn't even open. I went up there every day. I went up there Tuesday. Okay, so that's another good one. So to get out of this neighborhood, you go by Tracy's workplace around the airport, and at the end of the street, there's a hill to go straight up to the highway. So I get there that Tuesday afternoon. I'm like, it's like 1:15. I'm like, I'm going to the post office to see if they're open. And I get to the bottom of the hill, and there's a 2-wheel drive Toyota, one of those Harlan fake rednecks. He got to the top of the hill and decided he was going to stop for the stoplight. How dumb is that? There's nobody on the road. Me, him, and like one other car. And he stops for the stoplight. And so as soon as he stops, I'm like, oh, God, that dude's dead. The next thing you know, he's going backwards. The back wheels are spinning. He's headed towards the church parking lot. And I'm coming up behind him. I'm like, oof, now what do? I'm like, I pass him through the church parking lot, go up through the gas station, because the gas station's flat. Once you make it up the hill in the gas station, I can pull out to the street and make a left or a right. So I went up to the gas station. So I got out. And so then I go to the post office and okay, so Jason, I need to remind him tomorrow he did wrong. Jason's truck is in the parking lot, and I knock on the door, and he won't answer. I'm like, Jason, I hear you, because they've got mailboxes, so you can go in. I'm like, Jason, I can hear you back there. Answer. He would not answer. I need to call him out on that tomorrow. So, hey, Farsight, come on.
I like how this weather's been like a challenge for you. Like everybody else is staying in. Scott's like, fuck it, I'm getting in the truck. I'm going somewhere else.
Man, it has been so crazy. So here's a great one. This is comedy gold right here. On Wednesday in the Facebook group for the neighborhood, this neighborhood's about 100 houses, and there's a Facebook group. And so a lady puts on there, has anybody been to so-and-so? How is it? My husband tried to make it up the hill, and I think he might have been in the Toyota truck. But his truck got stuck and down, and he was in the church parking lot, and somebody helped him turn it around, and so he came home. And so yesterday, she says, well, my husband made it to Publix. We needed this, this, and this, and they were out of a lot of stuff. And he said, there's so many people out there that really needed to be on the road. They needed to stay at home. And the first thought to me was, this motherfucker couldn't make it up the hill. What's he doing at Publix? I'm like, I can't be the only one to put two together and figure this guy is just going to the grocery store who couldn't make it up the hill the day before, but he's got the nerve to bitch about other people being on the road when he was too dumb to make it up the hill. Yeah. So that's been my life. I've had to find comedy in places that it's just not there anymore. Hey, Shamrock, what's up? Yeah, Steven, I've already done donuts in the parking lot. I've been riding around. I'm like, you know what? I want to do donuts and slide around. So I take it out of 4-wheel drive and slide around. Then I put it back in 4-wheel drive. And I'm like, can I make all 4 wheels spin? I've done all that. Yeah, Mike, it's the other people. And so today they plowed today. The road out of here is clear. I mean, pure asphalt all the way out, even up the hill. And I pull out of the neighborhood for the second or third time today. I'm going to the post office. It's 10 minutes to 2. I talked to Jason on the phone. He's like, we're closing at 2 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, I got 10 minutes to drop these 5 bags and stuff up there. I pull out of the neighborhood. We are 5 cars deep. There is somebody's grandpa going 17 miles an hour. For the next 4 miles, we go 17 miles an hour. And my first thought was, I wonder if that's the guy from the Facebook group who got stuck.
Probably.
Jacob did donut. So is there any such thing as doing Amish donuts?
Oh yeah.
Can a horse sling a buggy around?
I was just gonna say, how's that work?
You're muted. You're still muted.
Jake doesn't know he's muted.
I told him he was muted. What?
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, just remember there's steel on the outside of those wooden wheels. Put that on ice. Woo!
Good times.
Yep.
So y'all make a lot of the stuff. Are Amish allowed to make their own liquor?
Ooh, good question.
No. No, they're not. They're not allowed to.
How
They
much
do
snow
make
do
their own communion wine, but that's about as far as it goes.
you want to know how much snow we got? How much snow has shut down the city of Huntsville since Sunday night at midnight?
3 inches?
2.
2 inches?
2.
We had 8 as of yesterday morning, and we've got about 2 more.
Well, we did get ice on both sides, so we got there's a ton of ice. I mean, everything. So, like,
It's snowing a lot right now. It's pouring snow right now.
so Tracy, on Bob Wade, they had cones on both sides of the S curves on Bob Wade. Yeah, I went through there. It's not that bad. I'm like, you pull up to the road and they've got these little cones blocking off the road, and I'm like, you really think they're serious with cones? But there was a truck stuck in the top corner. And there was a car off the road on the other side. But yeah, that place is bad in the rain. So they got 2 inches the last hour. Tom, it's So you gotta realize you've got nobody here who has ever driven it at Harley. We only see it every other year, and when we see it, it's generally like it is right now. It's pure ice.
And usually gone within 48 hours.
It's usually gone within 48 hours. This one is very strange that it's lasted so long.
Even here in Virginia, it's rare that we have more than 48 hours of weather, of even cold weather. Even for us to have more than 48 hours of staying below freezing, continually below freezing, is unusual. I mean, we do have it about once a year, but it's pretty rare otherwise, about once a year.
This is normally what it looks like. Saturday it's going to be 22, then 38, then 47, then 50, then 60, 60, 60, 60. That's generally what happens. It comes in real cold for a couple days, and then all of a sudden it's 60s and it's all gone. I mean, within a matter of...
Yeah.
It's made a mess of everything, though. UPS, FedEx have been shut down completely. I was talking to the gentleman at UPS. He said that he made it up there yesterday. He made it up there Wednesday, so he loaded trucks with a couple other guys Wednesday. And I was there today at 3 o'clock. He said none of those trucks have left the building that they loaded. Yeah, you got to watch out for the light poles. Those are the best videos of people doing donuts in a parking lot and hit a light pole. Those are always good. So pick your. But to give Walmart their credit, all the Walmarts have been open. I've been to 4 of them now. The Walmarts were open on Tuesday. Publix was open. So Walmart did shut down their pickup service, so you couldn't. They wouldn't pull the groceries for you, but they would sell you groceries. They wouldn't bring the groceries to you, but they'd sell you groceries. Kelly said we got more snow than they did in May. Kelly, if it was just snow, man, it wouldn't be bad. It's the problem that it's ice.
Yeah, snow I can deal with, but it's the ice. I've been at work all week, and it's just been freaking miserable.
Yeah, Pops Addicts. That's the comment of the night. Forget all the mail year comments, all that stuff. Can we have no negative temperatures, and can I have my yard sales?
Right.
Agreed.
That's all I'm asking for is can I have my yard sales back? See, Kelly, so here's the worst part. So the last couple days, we've gone up to 37, 38. And so everything is thawed out. And now, like tonight, we're going back down to 10. So in the morning when you wake up, everything's frozen again.
Yep.
Tomorrow's high is only like 22. But then it's 40, 50, and then on 60s the rest of the week. I'll be wearing shorts by Wednesday. So y'all have that to look forward to. On the Wednesday morning show, I'll wear shorts, and you can see my white legs.
What other color would they be?
You know he's got a tanning bed somewhere.
Bruised.
Bruised, black and blue.
But all the tracking is stopped. I have got a couple items that I'm expecting to come in, and they all say weather delayed. I've only gotten 2 messages from customers. I haven't had anybody else. That's been very nice for this time around. I mean, I might get some messages after the weekend, but customers have been very understanding. Nobody has really demanded their overpriced maxi pads this week. I think
the fact that the whole country was hit with it, no one's gonna really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't live in Wisconsin. It's been below 0 for the last week. It went below 0 one night this week, and I really thought about moving to Florida or out there. I couldn't live out there with Dave because I'm not living in California. But
why not, man? It's awesome.
Yeah, Tom sold some Depends. Did you sell a pack of $24 maxi pads though? I might have 80 of those.
Can't believe you found that many. I
Ping,
never found one.
I don't want to hear it, Ping. Do not flaunt your weather. And Dave has already been doing that. Please do not flaunt your weather in front of us.
I know, it's weird, man. Everybody else is cold and not here.
Ping, would you like me to go inside and pick up one of my multiple guns with magazines bigger than 10 bullets to show you my freedom?
They're all here. Don't think they're not. They're just as armed. just don't drive around with them loaded.
So this is interesting, Joe. So I've sold three snow shovels at the auction this year. I see chains at yard sales about 5 or 6 times a year. And so I'm at Harlan's place yesterday. I'm like, what's the one thing we see that I'm sitting here thinking we would be kings of the world right now if we picked them up? He looked at me and goes, all them damn snow chains we see at yard sales. I'm like, I'm buying me a set. So it's my goal this year to find a set of snow chains at the yard sales. If somebody's going to give me away and laugh at me for buying them. Yeah, so there you go.
You going to buy them for your truck?
For whatever, Toyota truck, I don't care.
Oh, I thought you were buying them for your truck.
My truck, my Toyota, Johnny's car. I'm going to stick them on something.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some people making comments and like on different shows and on YouTube about how the South are a bunch of wusses for all this. You come talk to me at 100 degrees with 100% humidity, and we'll see.
I'll take
when I bring that in like it's just normal and freedom, and y'all are struggling and dying and looking for your air conditioning.
I'll take the cold. I'll take the cold any day. 100% humidity.
I will too. I cannot do humidity. Oh,
yeah, me both.
It kills you.
Lived in Florida for a year. Nope, won't do it again.
Humidity killed Dave's computer. He blamed it on it anyway.
Florida, dude, no joke. I was out on a patio for like a day and a half, and the thing just shut off and would not work. I brought it home, left it on my desk for a day, turned it back on. It worked fine. Got back to that weather it liked.
I don't know, Larry. We'll ask. Can you put chains on a buggy?
Yeah, I doubt it. You probably put a bunch of zip ties on there if you wanted to.
Sick.
What a dog sleds for.
So I've seen those, Patricia, as well. I need some of the. I've seen all this stuff, and I'm gonna be wiser and just throw some of this in a corner somewhere. And the next time all hell breaks loose, I'm gonna start riding around like I'm the king of the world, like I'm the king of the north. From what am I watching? Game of Thrones.
King of the North.
King of the North.
I think there's only about a month and a half where Florida's even tolerable. But it's usually really cold.
The problem was even in the wintertime when it's cooler weather, it's still humid.
So yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this cold sucks.
So I can tell you, I figured out part of all the YouTube folks and all your folks that are just whining and crying about eBay being broken and all this stuff. I'm going to explain to you a scenario that you're going to have to understand. There is a group of folks on YouTube who have a large following who decided to tell everyone that they need to go to the bins or the yard sales and buy mall clothes and list hundreds of these mall clothes every day, and that by a process of elimination and people coming by, they will buy your mall clothes and you will make a full-time living as you pay them $34.95 a month for them to tell you this. It's not eBay that's that broken, folks. I'm telling you right now, people underestimate what these other platforms are doing and how these other platforms are picking eBay apart. So I told you I met the future Miss Tyree last night. This very nice lady has a very nice house. She does well for herself. She's an attorney. She was bored looking around and because her well, she was mad at him for not coming over and being snow bunnies and being snowed in, but her current boyfriend, her current boyfriend who's now stuck with her, resells, and so it gave her the idea. My daughter sells a little bit of stuff on Poshmark. Can I sell some of these extra shoes and all the stuff I have laying around here? Can I throw them on Poshmark and see if I can sell them? Oh, how easy this was, and how it was to move these things and have sold things on Poshmark, right? That she's just listed. Folks, don't underestimate the ease with which Poshmark is to use, to ship, and the social aspect, which is dominating our lives like now with social media. And Poshmark is a combination of social media and selling platform to people that buy clothes. If you're a struggling clothes seller, do not underestimate what Poshmark is doing to eBay right now. I promise you that it is a much bigger problem with eBay than they want to recognize, that they want to admit, that most of these YouTubers want to admit. They are siphoning off huge chunks of. They are reaching audiences that eBay can't reach because eBay has missed the boat on anybody that's under 48 years old for the most part. It was very eye-opening to hear her say, I just listed them on Poshmark and I've sold some already. Do you know how difficult it would be to list these things on eBay and to understand promoted listings and to get the right pictures and to on and on and on and to get them in search and get them up and compete with somebody like Tom Bernard, who is a great shoe seller, a used shoe seller, because they are rewarding people who really know what they're doing. Where you can do the social aspect of Poshmark and people find you and they search for newer sellers and all these fun stuff. I'm telling you right now, eBay has problems. I agree with you, but their problems are bigger than search. And do not, if you're a clothing seller and you're not on Poshmark and can't see the value of selling on a different platform like that, and I'm just talking Poshmark, man. I'm not talking about there's what's it, Grailed. There's one in Grailed for vintage clothes. I mean, and there's other ones that are just tennis shoes. Just think about this. eBay recognized how much of their tennis shoe market they were losing, that they offer free authentication to battle these higher end because they are losing so much of the. Do you think eBay just said, out of the goodness of our heart, we're going to give you free shipping and we're going to reassure the customers for free that your shoes are real out of the kindness of our hearts? No, they're getting their ass kicked and they're getting their ass handed to them. And that was one of the ways they come up with to deal with getting their ass kicked. I'm telling you right now, competition to eBay is a much bigger problem than eBay search. And until you accept that,
and I would say, so I joined Poshmark as a customer about a month ago because some of the stuff I'm selling is over there and it really honestly shouldn't be over there. So I get it dirt cheap. But as a customer, holy crap, you are bombarded with just message after message after message. I joined, and all of a sudden, all these people started following me. I'm like, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
And then now there's always it says new message. Well, it's not a message. It's a go watch this live. I'm like, holy crap.
Spam you hard.
Oh, man, it is painful. But if it works for the average customer.
Tommy's teaching you, Tommy the Bargain Effect, Tommy is teaching eBay right now. So I know this is Dawn. So Dawn, you and Mary have been lowered a notch in my list of people and their intelligence. You guys have been lowered a notch because I told Josh Galt the same thing. I don't understand how you can live in a climate that's this damn cold for significant amounts of time in the year and like this. So when you have free will to move anywhere in the country and you stay in this cold ass shit, yeah, I am. I it is terrible. I can never do this.
Terrible, man.
Please come get you. 65 next week.
So I have a question for you and for everybody in the audience. As a customer, I had an incident this week on eBay.
Ooh.
And my question is, if something is open box, does it include the manufacturer's box?
I say unless they say it doesn't, it should. Unless it says it's going to be reboxed.
Yeah.
Open box to me means it comes like it was from the whoever, they just put it back in it, or it's been open for inspection or whatever.
All right, so we all as sellers kind of have, it looks like everyone's answering the same thing. So in the chat, you'd be surprised. Give it a second. Come on. No, eBay says it does not have to have the box.
Well, no. I mean, generally you would state that. Like even when I saw like new on Amazon, I'll state that it's been repackaged or
Right. But eBay says to be open box, it does not have to have the box.
No, it technically doesn't, but
which I don't understand, because how is it open box if there is no fucking box?
Because it could be destroyed and you're putting it in a better box. And
well, then it's used reboxed. But anyways,
yeah.
So I bought something and I left this guy neutral feedback. He thought his world was going to end. Holy shit. He threatened that I needed to change it and it's all my fault that I did not read the description and that I'm a bad buyer, and he's going to go to eBay. Message after message, 5 messages all in a row within like 20 minutes. And at that point, I ignored the guy. And the next morning, Sunday morning, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm waiting for your response. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm done with you. Let bring it on. And yeah.
You get blocked, you do that shit to me.
So James is right. This is the craziest part. eBay sellers really think it matters. As long as somebody's in the 90s, I don't care. I'll look and see. I prefer them being the 98 or higher. But yeah, it's just things are never. You understand that things not. I got a negative this week because I sold the lady the size shoes that I had listed.
What? Oh yeah.
I had so they were a something model 10 size 7. And she complained that I sent her size 7 when she ordered size 10. And I'm like, wait a minute. They are model 10 size 7, just like the picture shows, just like the listing says. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me see what I can do to get rid of this thing because you were right. I got a negative feedback because I did everything right.
Well, and that's the point. Is I left the guy neutral.
And so you know what I told the lady? I said, I understand these don't work for you. I still have free returns. Please send the shoes back and I'll get your money back to you. I wasn't mean to her. I wasn't hateful. I was a little angry before I typed. I'm like, I can't believe I did everything right and got a negative. I mean, I do a lot of stuff that I deserve a negative for that I don't get. But I rarely do everything right and get a negative. And so, but she I haven't checked. I'm assuming she fixed it. Yeah. Yeah, James. James, are you drinking? Man, that's 2 in a row. Normally, James is just here to screw with me, but
yeah.
That's 100% correct, James. So if you know how to play the game, so every one of you sellers, if you sell on eBay, if you can't figure out how to report an item as not described and get your money back and get your returns, I mean, give me a break. eBay will step. If you file it as not as described, eBay will side with the buyer almost every time. And so if something happens, they'll cover you. If the item doesn't get there, they'll cover you. Um, Kent says, for your information, size shoes are a size 10. Right.
Well, and and he's like, if you had messaged me, we could have worked something out. And it's like, it's not about the money. The price you gave me was great.
Hey, Kent, I laughed and thought about you the other day. There's a guy I watch on TikTok. So if you know does everybody know who Keith Lee is? Keith Lee lives in Vegas. He is a really nice guy. He reviews restaurants that are local restaurants in most cities, and they call it the Keith Lee effect. If the food is really good, people will flock there, and it'll just be a marketing issue whether these restaurants are not getting. Well, this guy is in Atlanta, and he makes parodies of Keith Lee. Keith Lee's got like 10 million followers on TikTok. Well, this guy said that he ordered Cajun fries, and the Cajun seasoning was not there. It was more like Caucasian seasoning. And I'm like, them crazy Cajuns. I know one crazy Cajun. He comes in the chat. So welcome to the chat, Kent, the Crazy Cajun. That should be your new name, the Crazy Cajun. Yeah, I know my listing was right. Yeah, so that guy, I forget what that guy's name is. He is funny. If you do TikTok at all and know who Keith Lee is, there he was just there. Come back.
I'm not trying to. I have seen
come back.
Worst Alabama football has to offer.
Come back. I'm gonna show you who he is because Keith Lee parody. I said parody, not impression.
Me and my family are in Atlanta. And then
it's that guy.
McDonald's. Let's try it. Ready? 1 through 10. Before we get shot at, I spent $15.53. I covered up my car. So you just don't try to scam. Let's take a look at some of the items that I got. It's 4-piece nugget that was already open. Apple pie, vanilla milkshake.
I'm trying to go to sleep last night, and I'm watching the last couple that I caught up on him, and Johnny's like, "Who are you laughing at?" Yeah, it was that guy. Yeah, he's the best. The Crazy Cajun can't put that on a cracker. Yeah. But if you're not, so my challenge to you is, so everybody will tell you, cross list. But I will tell you, most of my stuff I've got cross listed on Poshmark because it's a portfolio platform. It doesn't sell. Even big girl underwear doesn't sell much on Poshmark, which is okay. So here's a question for the audience. I had this revelation last night that I need to change my description and maybe my title for my 3X on eBay. And I come up with a keyword that I need to put in there, but I need some guidance. If y'all think I need to put it in there. Since they're 3X, I thought about maybe if I put on there, y'all need to tell me if this is too insulting or not. Can I put FUPA control in the 3X? Is that too insulting?
What control?
FUPA, the big woman apron. Is that too bad?
I think you're better off putting XXX.
Kent says I can't. Patricia says don't. Damn it. All right, I won't do it. I knew I shouldn't do it, but so Johnson, I got one vote for yes. So I have 2 no. I have 2 no's and a yes. I have. See, See, Jenna gets it.
Oh God.
This is what you get on Friday night. We make no sense. If you got any reselling questions, most of the panel we have a lot of experience.
Hey, I say if they're 3X, just put 3Xs. You'll get a lot of views. No sales, but
that's put on. So Dawn says put for ladies with more cushion for the pushing. All right. Can't say they call it front butt. So this is what happens when you get snowed in Alabama. These thoughts, and that you've really not talked to hardly anybody in a week. This is what happens. You come up with these great ideas that are really just terrible. They're just absolutely terrible. I saw a pair of them. What size are you? See, these are only 2X. I can't destroy. I would put these on for you, but I can't destroy 2X. 2X actually sells. I think I've got like 52X left. So Sean said he searched FUPA and mostly comes up with model trains. Are you? Does anything say search is broken like the FUPA model train? I typed in FUPA control top, and there's actually somebody selling something called a Side Dream bodysuit for women, thong shapewear, tops, waist, trainer, FUPA tummy control. That should never be in the same listing. The same listing should not have the words thong and FUPA in the same listing. Because how much pressure would the thong be under to try to control the other side? That's just terrible. Okay, Larry, my fruit buster mix a lot. I'm just being funny, Patricia. I'm not going to put it in there. So Kent said all raw stores have started doing the 99-cent markdown this week. That might be somewhere to go tomorrow because nobody's been to Ross this week. You can't hardly get there. Tommy said he comes up with great, terrible ideas all the time. I do. I don't use big girl panties. Should I put big girl panties in there? Nobody reads the description. I could put shout out to the big girls in the description. Nobody'd read it.
Not a person.
What? What did I miss?
Josh got. I busted my ass today, Josh. How do you live with ice and snow half the year round? This sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start wearing golf shoes the rest of the week.
Snow boots.
So Kent said he found a new Toomey bag. So Kent, how do you know what's 99 cents? Are there actually price tags on it marketed at 99 cents? Karen would read it and report me for price gouging. So Diana says, what do you think about eBay lending, dropping lending point? And I don't think that's a bad thing, Diana. I would tell you, one of the hardest things for a small seller to do is, so what do we know about small sellers? Most of the time they're new sellers. There's nothing wrong with new sellers, but new sellers don't know what they don't know. And so they have a tendency to make bad buys. They have a tendency to buy things. I'm in a Facebook group because damn it, Andy tricked me into being in that Facebook group. Andy, damn it, Andy. I know you're not watching. You and your loser Cowboys. I should not have trusted you, you loser Cowboy fans.
Hey,
And so this guy he puts a bolo in there, and the bolo is for a camera, a trail cam. You know, trail cams sell great. That's not the problem. He said he picked up 3 of them for $100 each, and he is like, I sold them within a couple hours for $400, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what a huge risk! You're a dumbass. And so this guy is probably a new seller and doesn't understand the insane risk he has taken by taking $300 and selling it for $400. By the time you throw fees and shipping and everything in there, what have you made? $40 on a $300 spend?
Right.
You know, one of those returned.
One return, yeah. Boom.
And so is that, Diana, is that the person that really would be a smaller seller? Is that the person that needs to be taking out a loan to have the kind of pressure to now not understand? If you've got a minimum income of 50,000, you know, you generally know how the game is played. You know, that's not a high bar for the most part. $50,000. Okay, so let's think about $50,000 over a year. So what's that a year? I know you're making what, $4,100, $4,200. That's not a high bar. Most people think that's a huge number, but so I don't know if Jennifer's still here with us. So Jennifer and I were talking about some financial goals. She's one of my better friends, and you know, trying to help encourage each other and what we need to do and some targets we were hitting. And we started dividing them up by weeks and by things. And I'm like, you know, these big chunks of money and these big goals that we want to hit, they become much more realistic when you break them up into parts and go, well, that's only so much a week. That's only so much a month. You know, I can, you know, when you look at it at a weekly goal versus that big monthly goal, you go, I'm actually much closer to it than I think. I just need to push a little harder. And so I challenge you to get friends like that, friends that will help you see that and that you can talk things through. And so if you take the $50,000 and break it down and go, you know, I would tell you that 50,000 is not shutting out most small sellers. I think there's a lot of sellers that will hit the 50,000. But I would think that you would need to get to a minimum of that to understand what you're doing, to understand how to use the money because if you can sell that much, you're at a point to where you understand that, because the worst thing is taking on a loan and spending on something, you know, taking that money and going, well, I'm going to buy a tape machine. I need a van to source with. You get very distracted and don't have a plan to use it strictly for inventory. You don't have a playback plan. I can tell you all these things because I've been there with Amazon loans. These loans that they give you are very predatory.
Yep.
And there's nobody out there who wants to tell you how predatory these loans are. They sound like a good idea. I'm a little cash flow short right now. And my answer to that is to turn and try to find things that flip faster because I have opportunities to borrow and I do not want to do that because it is predatory.
Yep.
Yeah, I read that same exact post right before the show, and there were a lot of people agreeing that the guy should have done it. And they're like, based off the hourly rate, I would have done it too. It's like, okay, you made $30-$40 in an hour. It's not worth the risk.
It's the risk. They don't see the risk.
It's the tying up. Yeah. Well,
I mean, if I'm dropping $300 to make $300, sure, not a problem. I'll sit on it. I have no issue with that because if it gets returned, I can always sell it again.
Correct. So I'm not crazy then. Okay, well, that doesn't really solve anything.
Well, that doesn't determine anything.
I think the jury's still out on that one.
That jury's done convicted me. Sorry. So Josh says the same thing. No loans here. All right. So Mr. Galt, can you can you text John and tell him that he has done us a disservice? There was already like 1 million Johns, and it was hard to know whether I'm talking to John Flippin' Ain't Easy or John Nevermore, or I know like, John Cincinnati. I know 5 or 6 Johns, but it was pretty easy. If I said Josh, it was generally Josh Galt. But now he's brought another Josh on his show, and now there are 2 Joshes in the mix, and I have to think, damn, I have to say Josh Galt because the other Alabama dude is Josh, which is just going to really mess with my head right now. So make sure that before John leads anybody else on his show, he puts in an application and tell them they have to legally change their name before they can come on. That's right. We need to start a union, damn it. We need to start a union and we need to rebel because rebel against the man. They can't tell us what to do. They can't come up with their rules. I'll go spend 90% and open my own thrift store and sell this stuff to people in Alabama. Nah. All right, Jenna. You can't control him, so I trust you on that one. You will the power to control that man, so that's all I'm gonna say. So there you go.
Cha-ching.
Ching.
Sold for $14.99. Yeah, I'm rich.
But so Josh, he said that he mentioned that not about loans, and the one thing I would tell you about is if you need to generate cash flow, you need to understand the turn of your inventory. If you want to generate stuff fast, find things that sell a little faster. Maybe take a little less profit, not 300 to 400, but say a 50% profit, and for an item that will sell faster. There are fast items out there that you can get 50% off. But that would be a way to raise buy. But I would challenge you, if you're looking at your budget and looking at things, cut out expenses to increase your buying budget. I would tell you to eat ramen noodles, but in Alabama, in the ice, that was one of the first things they wiped out was the ramen noodles, which I'm like, oh God, you're gonna be stuck at home. It's gonna be icy, and all you're gonna have is your TV and maybe some internet and ramen noodles, milk and bread, bread
sandwiches or milk sandwiches.
I at least need a steak.
I'll be the United Socialist Reseller Union. Can we leave out that socialist word? I don't deal with socialists very well. And I would not make a good ruler. I would not make because how about the United Libertarian Reseller? Because I truly believe that I can give you information, I can help you along the way, but you got to take some responsibility for yourself. This is I'm way more on the libertarian side. I think the opportunity is great for each and every one of us to resell, but you have to have effort, you have to have knowledge and desire and all these things that put together make a powerful force in the reselling industry. But so I should keep extended underwear. Yeah,
Knowledge.
I had distended underwear. How about that?
Who in the world would think of cutting willow trees up and selling them? Jake did.
Those Amish.
Jeez.
That was probably one of his Christmas presents as a young kid, and he thought about it.
Hey, you work with what you got, man. Like this.
Here, put this stick in the ground and watch it grow.
Right.
I can't believe you can make money.
It makes more sticks.
For a stick.
Yep. And people will pay me for them.
we're glad you got a great sense of humor because we mess with you a lot. But
All right, I mean, it matches my sense of humor.
Hey man, if I could sell sticks for money, I would.
That's right, exactly.
so Josh has a huge problem out there. Isn't people's reselling business that are profitable? It's they're expensive. Josh, there are so many people, and there are so many people that take advantage of that, and they want it. They have looked at all the stuff and go, it's just, everything used to be $5 or $10 or $15 a month, but now these just cross list for us for $60 a month, $70 a month, and people don't stop and think. I mean, how many people add up your expenses and know what all your subscriptions cost you every month?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Inventory Lab. I told Inventory Lab to pound sand when they decided they were going to $75 a month or something crazy.
What I did to Brixie.
Brixie has struggled mightily, and they had paid plans and stuff too. And now they're
not worth it.
They continue to push stuff whenever their big draw was Walmart, and their accuracy at Walmart is terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't even work. It does not work. And it doesn't work at Lowe's. It doesn't work at Lowe's at all. I mean, okay, I guess it still shows you some prices, but it does not tell you when they mark it down at all.
So Tommy said, can we talk about impressions and promoted listings? My afternoon impression fixed through in the towel. You want to talk about impressions? How do you impersonate a shoe? Is that the impression you want to make? You want to impersonate a shoe? I'm not messing with you, Tommy. I've seen your store and I've seen what you do with shoes. You ain't fooling nobody. Imagine that if you have knowledge in a certain area. They say right now, Tommy, you can't niche down. You can't live in one category. I mean, can you believe that? You can't just sell. If I wanted to sell electronics, or God forbid, I want to sell women's shoes, you just can't make a living doing that. Grew up eating wish sandwiches. Man, these people didn't live through the 80s. That's the part of the problem. You didn't live through the 80s with those latchkey kids. You get home and you had hamburger buns when you got home, and hot dog buns and bread, because it was all the same damn thing. There wasn't no such thing as a hamburger bun at our house.
It's white bread.
White bread made sandwiches. It made hot dog buns. It made whatever. You could either go hungry or figure out how to operate the can opener and open the SpaghettiOs. Damn it. My brother and I figured out how to cook eggs in the microwave to make egg sandwiches. I still eat them stupid things. It's amazing how much you can do. These services, be careful about all these services. There are some that are very valuable, but they are getting increasingly expensive, and you'll look around and go, all of a sudden you're $200-$300 a month in the hole for services, and you'll go, well, I only use that a few times this month. And you've got to sell items. That's your profit. You've got to pick enough items just to cover these things, and are they worth the return? Sit down and figure out if that 500% sell-through rate you get from using one of these services is worth it. It's just, this is. I try to talk about a lot of things people won't tell you, because I've got plenty of links in the description below. If you need help, there's discounts and stuff to try things out. But be careful with that. Why is Rollo printer so popular right now? Because Rollo set out a few years ago, if we pay a lot of influencers a lot of money in order for them to back and tell you need one of this damn printer, everybody won't notice that it's the same Chinese printer on Amazon that's $100 less. But because someone on YouTube said you gotta have a Rollo, nobody said you had to have a PRT, whatever that was, for $44.
Paper.
Yeah.
They said you got to have a Rolo, and then they'll say you because they've got great customer service. These are Chinese printers, folks.
Yeah.
That $44 printer, you can have 5 of them go wrong before you can buy the Rolo.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Yep.
Rolo has tech support. We don't buy that. They don't have that kind of tech support.
I'd actually considered making a Rolo competitor just because of that. I mean, it's, and the differentiation I would have done would have been to have overnight replacement because of the price point. I could just have an overnight replacement program. If something went wrong, they could just get an overnight replacement. Obviously, you'd have to limit that, but it's the customer service and the marketing. That's it. That's the only difference.
When you call Rolo tech support, do you have your clothes on? You keep talking about tech support. Is that something you call when you're drunk without any clothes down in Cajun Land? They have a label program to make labels with their printer. It's a damn shame that you can't make labels with any other printer but a Rolo.
What are they actually trying to say?
I've never used it.
Like an app or something?
I'd say half a dozen, one or the other. They're all the same. The Rolos are just more expensive.
I could care less what the shape of the printer is. Like,
Tommy, that one was so good. I thought I'd put you up there. Yeah, see, John, most people don't realize that the type of patents. Everybody goes, "Oh, but they got a patent." There are patents for design. There are patents for
utility,
for function, and they're different. They're different patents. So,
yeah, those are your two primary ones: utility patent and design patents.
I'm telling you right now, if you want a printer that lasts forever, and you've got maybe 3 brain cells that kind of wander around up here, buy a damn zebra and be done with it. You can't kill a zebra. Can't kill a zebra. There is a reason why you go into any UPS store around and look what printers does UPS use.
Yeah,
that's right.
UPS stores that print millions of labels every single day.
Millions.
Use zebra printers exclusively. If you want a printer that will not die, you cannot kill, and just sits there, ain't fancy. And I've got 3 of them around here, and they just print a zebra printer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, they are built heavy duty. They are built to UPS standards. So you think Zebra is going to build a printer for UPS and go, let's make all the rest of them different? No, they're all the same printer. They're just a different model number.
Yeah, I've got a new Zebra and an older Zebra, and I demoted my older Zebra about 6 months ago. And the only reason was I was tired of switching between small labels and big labels. I'm like, why do I not have a second printer? I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah, that's the reason I have 2 of them for sure.
Yep.
But Tommy, the problem is most people don't want to learn. They want to sell something, but they don't want to learn and become experts. I miss Crazy Picker Life. Not only was he crazy smart with cameras, man, that dude was funny, man. I enjoy watching his videos. I watched them all, and you know who was better with cameras than him? His freaking kid. That dude knew oh my God, his oldest son knew cameras like nobody's business and was self-taught with cameras. It's absolutely. He started talking about cameras and it would go way over my head. And then we go back to Crazy Picker Life. He'd be talking about Blatt's beer. But and how many times did they tell you in a video that they commanded 30-40% more in price because they were experts in their repeat business? build it. Build if you're an expert in an area. Rely on your expertise. Build, repeat, do the things that it takes to build, repeat business to let your customers know your. How do you do that? Outstanding customer service. Returns that are longer than normal. Be kind. All these things are absolutely amazing if you want to become.
Provide additional value that they're not going to get everywhere else.
You're 100%. They forgot more about cameras. I sell a lot of cameras, and I don't have a clue. Especially the older stuff. It's amazing that they would go. They're the reason why I want to go do the Nebraska junk this year. That's one of my goals is to get out to Nebraska to do that long yard sale. The stuff they would go into these places and cameras and know exactly what they were looking for with these. I know what a brownie is. I know what some of those stuff are, but it's amazing that the amount of knowledge they had about very vintage cameras and all the parts, and this part's worth this, and this is this, and it's good because it's they were so good with that kind of stuff. And I'm sure they still are. I'm sure they still sell a ton of that stuff because cameras are still wildly popular.
They were the experts.
I hate that they got so much hell from assholes that didn't like their choices with fam. Can we give those guys a break? They had a family business. He developed a family business. It just happened to be on eBay, which is not. It's typical now, but it wasn't something that was 20 years ago. And he's teaching his kids to sell and do the things he did, and they were in the family business, and they caught all kinds of grief for this. I'm like, why are we giving these folks grief? These people absolutely love their children. They are training them with specific skills on how to cope in life and training, they left YouTube because of the negativity they got towards their family. I don't get it, man. I miss Crazy Picker Life. What great YouTubers. And as eBayers and people who resell, we are worse off for not having those guys around because they were so good. They were such good people.
Yeah, Tommy, I don't know what the difference is between Commonwealth and Crazy Picker. It's mind blowing.
I think it might be a little bit of timing. I think it's more people are more accepting now, especially coming through COVID and all the stuff that's at home. I don't know what it is.
Has a way of presenting that maybe Crazy Picker didn't. I don't know.
But he was a nice guy, though, man. He did.
Yeah.
When did he say? I don't remember him ever saying anything that was offensive. He was never political.
Did.
He was never anything. He was just generally just telling you about what he found and what he did. I miss those guys, man. He was one of the ones I actually wanted to meet. He's such a good guy. Yeah, I don't understand why he did either. This is what's made America great is fam. I guess it's because they are not what people stand for now. So what did America used to mean? America used to be family values. It used to mean families took care of families. We raised up our children to be like parents, to learn the family business and learn the family trade and give them skills. But now the government has come in and decided that, oh no, you're a dumbass. You're here just to make kids, and they're our kids. You'll send them to our schools. We'll indoctrinate them to our ways, and we will brainwash them into whatever. And so it is. People are looked down upon because you're not sending your kids to college. You're teaching them to make it for themselves and live on their own and be responsible. That's the only thing I can figure.
What's wrong with raising your kids in a family business? Is that bad?
It's what's built this country for the last 250 years.
Yeah.
Tommy, I think there's some of that. I think people couldn't see that truly he was listening that much a month, and it is truly mind blowing. And Yeah, Jacob will tell you the same thing, Tommy. You're 100% right. Amish have been doing it for how long? The Amish parents teach their children to do exactly the same thing, and they have the same farming techniques. They have the same values. They say everything is passed down and passed down. And it's because they don't need the outside world, and there's no outside influence. And the powers that be teach everybody else how wrong that is. Oh my God. Can you believe how different they are and how bad that is because they can make it on their own? I don't get it. Jacob's
It
about
says
to
Jake's looking sleepy.
I am a little bit sleepy.
Yeah.
And you
It's
stay up
'cause
till
you work
like
your
midnight.
ass off, dude.
He's
What?
the young too.
It's 'cause you work your ass off, dude.
Sometimes, yeah.
He hadn't done anything today. He said he was taking it easy today.
I did, but I also didn't drink any caffeine today either. So
Oh, there it is.
You ought to hear that. So Mr. Amish boy here worked at Starbucks for how many years? You should hear him. You should hear him go through a drive-thru and try to order his. Tell him what you order for a drink.
can I just say it's got 8 shots in it? We'll keep it simple, and not all the other stuff.
His drink has 8 espresso shots in it, folks. When he tells you he doesn't have any caffeine, get this. How many of those do you drink a day?
Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, sometimes I might have that and my own cold brew that I make myself, but sometimes I might also split that across 2 days. So you never know.
8 shots.
That would set my gut on fire.
Oh, I wouldn't do that on an empty stomach. No, I don't do that on an empty
I
stomach.
would.
So how expensive is that of a drink that you're getting for free with Stars? Well, no. How much should it be though?
14.
14.
14 something and
Yeah.
change.
Yep.
Because I also for that particular drink, and I'm not for that particular drink, I think it tastes better with oat milk in it, and that's another $1. So
Another
yeah.
upcharge, yeah. Their brown sugar oat milk one I thought it was good.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. Too bad I don't have one of those labels sitting here. It takes up the entire label. Let's put it that way.
Shamar Pixie, you have an amazing night as well. You're the one that needs to stay warm. You're the one up there in the Great White North. Ghost Picker says Amish teens smoke more weed than he has in 50 years.
Not surprised.
Weed okay there? Or not? How's that work? It's natural, right?
Yes, I wanted to try some coffee. I took up coffee last year. I still drink this year. Dunkin' Donuts had a maple flavor for the fall. And I kept talking myself into drinking Stroop waffle and everything else I drank. And man, I ran into that the other day. $5 a box at Walmart. Just the gummy
I
kind
put my own maple syrup in it. Now, when I empty this, I'll fill it back up from my own trees.
Oh.
Is that this kind of stuff?
No, this is really what it says it is.
So I stole Joni's Starbucks glass. I keep getting in trouble with this glass because she's like, you know how expensive that is to replace it if you drop it? I'm like, I'm just drinking out of it. I'm not dropping
Nobody
it.
has one of these.
Drop it. Whoa.
I can't. I don't know if I can see it. That's a Starbucks Reserve Roastery. This is the one they actually serve their drinks in. When he knew I was also a Starbucks barista, he says, "Just keep it." It's there for you, whatever.
there are so many. The one thing, the more people you talk about that do reselling that are very successful, the more one thing you learn is there is no right way. There are so many. I can tell you the wrong ways, but there are so many ways to be successful, and you can't listen to the people that tell you that you're crazy. How many people, Tommy, would tell you you're crazy as hell for focusing on women's shoes? Use women's shoes. They tell you you're crazy as hell. You can't make it selling cameras. You can't make it doing this. It's absolutely amazing how many different ways. But every year things change, and I would tell you if you're a clothing seller and you have struggled, which most of the people I hear that have struggled are the people. I'm telling you right now, if you don't adapt and change and really and do something like a Poshmark and really learn what Poshmark is and chase the customers. The name of the game is where are the customers? And if you're a clothing seller, I think Poshmark is just going to continue to grow in strength. It's still mind blowing that what does Amazon do when Amazon sees these competitors and Amazon has a competitor? What does Amazon do for a competitor? Amazon buys them. Amazon decides that they
What?
barrel aged whiskey,
Bourbon.
Whiskey barrel aged Sumatra.
Oh, that's just coffee. It has shocked me that eBay has not been smart enough to take this mindset.
No,
These early startups where they show a lot of promise. Why eBay has not invested in them and bought a lot of these companies? What's the easiest way for eBay to reach a? They tell you they tried advertising to younger audiences and stuff doesn't work. But if you own the platform that's attracting these younger customers, they figure out who eBay is.
If it was a secret, I couldn't tell you. But the secret is that you generally know by the way somebody orders a drink whether they've ever been a barista or are a barista. That's how you know it's a former barista or a current barista.
Hey, Ron, can I give you one message? And I want you to take this for your whole weekend. Hook 'em horns, sucker. every minute of this weekend, I want you to think, damn, Bearded Picker said hook 'em horns to me. There you go. Yeah, Tommy, shoes will work. Most people don't want to clean shoes. Most people don't want short shoes. They don't want to take the time to learn what the models are and what people. It's a complicated business. It's like anything else. But if you're good at it,
I listed 2 pair today. I'm a shoe seller.
you're a shoe seller now. I listed some coffee. Does that make me a coffee seller now?
Yeah.
Only if it sells.
Can't. I have no doubt at all with that statement.
Hook 'em horns is my little niece's favorite thing to say. She'll when I walk in, that's what she'll tell me. Even though she knows I don't like football, she'll still say it.
So I missed it. Damn it! This damn drinking and mousing. So Chernark, I've said this for a long time, and I agree with your statement 100%. It is people still want clothing, still buy clothing, but I can't sell clothing because I have no style. RG, are you in the chat? Everything I own has this on it. If Alabama hoodies were all the rage, I'd be king of the world. I'd be king of eBay and selling Alabama hoodies. Well, of course, I wouldn't sell them because I wear them, but you look at the people that are successful at selling clothes. They understand. So I look at somebody like Hustle a Home Mom. I'll watch her videos, and she'll say that she found this, and this, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of it. I had no clue, and it's a good thing I bought the cameras in the store if she would have been buying the clothes, because I have no, if you have to have a knowledge of fashion. Imagine that you have to keep up with trends and understand what people selling clothes is about selling what people want. We discount that greatly. We want to force them into a model where, well, this is from Aeropostale. Surely they want it. I don't even know if that's popular anymore. That's one of the brands from all that I know. If you've got to stay current, you've got to understand fashions. And then on top of that, you've got to understand the platform and take good pictures and do all the things. It's absolutely amazing that this actually worked, and you have to be the same expert in clothes that Tommy is in women's shoes to be successful on a platform. Imagine that. Todd, are you going to sell the Cowboys hat?
I got 10 listed right now, and none are selling.
So my buddy Andy is I told him I wouldn't mess with him last week, but that was so last week. So I sent him this today.
Yeah. Quit. Stop it.
Game the Cowboys are gonna play this year.
God,
Wait.
29 years of letdowns.
I sent him this one.
Yeah. Quit it. I've seen that. Stop it. Ugh.
I would say there was a year where I was
with the Cowboys. Jeez.
Brian Barrett, why would you ever leave God's country? Raised in Muscle Shoals, now live in the Amazon dream in Dallas. Your Muscle Shoals is currently under snow. Muscle Shoals got like 7 inches of snow this week. Absolutely insane. We got ice here in Huntsville, and yeah, it sucks. All you need is love. We make reselling way more complicated than it is. It's really the most successful resellers I know. Have a passion for reselling. That's number one. You've got to love the reselling. You got to love the game. That means you've got to like listing as much as you like finding, because if you don't list what you find, you don't sell. There's a complete little circle there. But they're also very good at a particular area. Except for this guy, he just sells any damn thing. What's up, Johnny?
Oh, nothing. My camera's messed up. Wait a second. I had a visitor show up, and I was
Where are you at?
Entertaining.
I'm like, I personally sent you the link, and you dissed me. I'm like, man, the hell was
I know. I was busy. I had a guy show up to my store, and he brought me something to list for him on eBay. You can't really see as much, but you remember that hanging Chad election? This is one of the polling booths from that.
Oh,
the county,
when in Florida in 2000.
Yeah, Palm Beach County. This is one of their polling stations that had the hanging Chad. He wants me to sell it for him on eBay, so we set it up and took pictures of it, and so then we got into all kinds of debates and discussions and stuff. But anyways, how are you guys doing? I wish. That's the one that Al Gore voted on personally.
So Brian, I made the mistake once I moved to Alabama in 1986 that I left here one time. I ain't leaving again. You can bury my ass in Alabama, or light me up, set me on fire, and spread my ashes all over Alabama. I ain't leaving. I'm walking around Wall. I was talking to a guy today. He's probably about my age. Black fella had on an Alabama hoodie, and I walked by him, and I'm like, "What a day that we've lost so much." And so we started talking, and Joni comes up to say something about Alabama football. I'm like, she don't have a clue. And most people, I told him, I'm like, most people wouldn't recognize that I didn't have. I had a different shirt on, but I'm like, I've always got on something that says Alabama because I never take this off.
Dang, look at all those scabs from the fall.
I know, right? Yeah, I like the Minions Band-Aid. I stabbed myself today.
Found a use for those.
Yeah, I finally opened the box. So I'm like,
damn Amazon.
Yeah, I'm not leaving Alabama. I love this state. Alabama football is a little in flux right now, but I still think that we're in good hands. It's just a transition. Put my ass in the Alabama box.
Do you any idea who they're going to get for their new head coach?
What do you mean? Any idea? If I had money, I'd put it on Kalen DeBoer. I would bet you $1 million Kalen DeBoer would be our next football coach. They hired him last week, but I bet that he's going to be the one. All right, and welcome to the stage, everyone. The world's worst reseller. What up, John?
What's up, dude?
I'm not the last guy here. It's the other John.
Yeah, I know John's gonna jump in. I might as well. I'm working and listening, so.
So welcome to Amazon selling.
Yeah, I've been adding some stuff to Amazon actually during the live. Let's see how it goes.
What? No.
Hey, this is what I bought today. This is what I bought today. Johnny drugged me to Trader Joe's, and so she's on one aisle. She's buying whatever, and I come fill her up the basket. She's like, "What's all this shit for?" I'm like, "All this shit's for Amazon." People don't look at you crazy when you're there with your wife and she's buying all this crazy stuff, and you just happen to fill the rest of the basket up with a bunch of. And that fool, my wife's insane, by the way. If y'all didn't know that, she matches my insanity. We're standing there, and she's like, "I can't believe you have this addiction." That's everything in the bag. I'm like, you're just dumb. But the nice thing is she goes to Trader Joe's every Thursday. So as this stuff sells, and she's just going to buy it every Thursday from me. Tracy, that's a true statement. She's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
She's crazy as hell. But I'm telling you right now, John, a lot of it is what you choose to sell, and if you follow some simple rules with Amazon, they won't bother you. You know, you need more than a few sellers on a listing. You never sell on a listing that the manufacturer sells on.
Yeah.
And I rarely sell on a listing that Amazon's on because I don't want to compete with them with their crazy price.
Right.
And I want a listing that's got, no more than 20 sellers, 25 sellers. If you follow some simple rules, nobody will bother you. Because the nice thing about 18 to 20 sellers is there's enough sellers on there where you got a feeling that they're not running them all. Mm-hmm. There's also programs out there. So the biggest advantage Amazon. So for you eBay sellers out there, we're going to talk Amazon for a minute. One of the bigger differences with Amazon is there's a lot more service. Amazon is built. Their API is built more for allowing services, and so you can get things that were people. Their service out there will tell you, this is an IP company. This this product has been reported IP. This this many in stock. It sells this many a month. You get some more information, and if you just do some IP checks, John, I think you'll be really fine.
Yeah. Well, I've been chased off twice with counterfeit claims, and a lot of it's what you already said. So not really
But that's
knowing it.
the one thing I hate about Amazon. The absolute worst is they changed about 3 or 4 years ago to allow these companies to file a counterfeit claim without a purchase. I'm like, I mean, that is absolute horseshit that Amazon allows that, because I could just go through every listing and go, well, that's counterfeit. I think it's counterfeit. That's counterfeit.
Right.
That's all they're doing is they are allowing them to make false accusations but no evidence. I mean, we live in a country that you're innocent till proven guilty. On Amazon, you're guilty, and that's, you got to understand that you're guilty till you prove yourself innocent. That's hard for a lot of people to deal with.
And another thing too is they're allowed to use a fake email too. I had one that was on a Chinese seller that I was trying to dump something I got at a garage sale and I never should have got, and it was Bob at AOL.com or something like that. You know, you couldn't even, yeah.
Yeah, so there's Mr. Alan Taylor in the chat. I hadn't seen you in a while, Alan. He sells a couple items on Amazon, maybe one or two. But it's so Amazon is if you do a little bit of learning and understand, you can avoid the dangers. You know, you really understand. Look, you can look at a listing. You know, Mr. I'm high as a kite, Dave up top. He is very good at looking. Have friends around you to help you. Dave is very good at looking at a listing and tell you whether it's the good one or the bad one, because there are a lot of things. Even though you're not allowed to make a second listing for an item, there are duplicate listings of everything on Amazon. And Dave has developed a very good sense to know which one is the better of the two. Just because you can get a higher price on one doesn't mean that's the one you should be on, because there's more danger on one listing than the other. You know, Amazon, I don't look at details very, very much, but Dave will look at it and go, man, somebody converted that listing. It used to be a 6-pack. You can tell by this. You find a lot of that on Amazon where people will change listings from 6-packs to singles.
Squeak in. Nobody's looking.
But for the most part, you know, the amount of sales and the customers is it's hard to beat. The opportunity is just massive.
Well, another thing too is once you have done it a while, you get a feeling for, you know, what listings are good or not. I've got a item that it's a pet item, and I got about 350 from a liquidator, and it's got no sales rank.
Yeah,
but
I sell about 5 or 6 a week.
You'll build it, it'll hit, and then it'll start building rank.
That's the weird thing with Amazon is they have all these systems in place, but they're not always perfect. And without experience, you don't understand it. I had a cordless phone that my brother and I bought at Rite Aid. It was a Uniden phone, and those phones, I bet between the two of us, we sold 800 or 900 of them, and it to this day doesn't have a rank.
Wow.
But the other side of it too is looking at it, I knew that it would be fine because it was actually a multi-listing. I had the 3-pack, and then there was a single. Well, Amazon's selling the single for, what is it, $6 something, but you can buy the 3-pack that I'm selling at $24.99. The customer wants to pay more for 3, go for it, and they do.
It's weird how that plays out sometimes.
And it works just fine.
That's technically a violation of Amazon policy, though.
Yeah.
What?
You are not allowed to have a multiple listing cost more than a single times 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, there is another thing though. But what if when you buy the single, if you get one of 3 different items at random, but if you buy the 3, you're guaranteed all 3.
As long as it has to be identical. So, say if this was $2, if Amazon was running this for $2 and you sold a 3-pack for 10, that would be a violation because the 3-pack could cost no more than 6. Amazon's policies are that you can't trick a customer by selling a multiple for more than what they could buy the single, multiple quantities of the single.
But when they buy the single, it's one of 3 different styles. They get it random.
But that is completely. That's not the same. But you're not dealing with apple. You're dealing apples and orange.
Yeah,
There's a
so that's different.
there's a value. There's a value. You've added a value to it because you get all 3.
Right. They're guaranteed you're getting all 3 different styles.
But if it's a simple one style,
Right.
Hey, Josh, you realize you have to pay 10% in super chats for any sales during this show.
Yep. Mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory.
At least hit the thumbs up button. John is there now. He will guarantee you a sale within the next 24 hours or your money back if you hit the thumbs up.
That's right.
That
Every cent you spent.
So Tactical Z, they generally don't enforce that. I'm just telling you that's the rule. They could at some point, if they decided to write a program, they could use that against you. But their catalog is so crazy, and that is just technically one of their rules. The thumbs up twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many people out there right now that are, because their businesses are struggling, they are predicting doom and gloom for reselling. Folks,
No.
there's one thing I can tell you is you can look through history as long as I've been alive, and I'm getting old now. The worse an economy does, the better it is for resellers. It's just the product mix has changed. People's
Yep.
the one thing people forget in this game, and the one thing that so many of these YouTubers don't teach you and don't tell you, is you have to sell things people want. it's but they want this 8-track take of the Doobie Brothers. Okay, maybe there's somebody out there that wants it, but we're not talking about, you're narrowing your customer base down so low. You want items that the majority of people want. You want a foolproof business? Sell food on Amazon.
Consumables, yeah.
Sell consumables on Amazon. So what's the one thing they do? A consumable. Let's see what happens to consumables.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
People eat it, use it, whatever. And so then what do they do? They order it again. So if you can find listings and find items that people
Yep.
they're gonna consume these and use them again, and I'm gonna sell them some more. These are just my test items right now to see how they do. But
And the stuff that store has, if you get the non-expirable or
they change 4 times a year, folks. Trader Joe's changes out seasons 4 times a year.
Yep.
And so their product mix changes 4 times a year. And so, are you an organized type of person that can understand? I'll make a simple spreadsheet and I will put, I bought this here. Next year, let's buy it again.
Yep.
2 things in that bag were stuff I'd sold before. When I saw them, I'm like, damn, I sold that. Why am I not selling it now? Because I'm stupid. Johnny's like, what are you buying that for? I'm like, sell on Amazon. Oh, that's all. That's all I got out there was an oh.
Oh.
Well, it was something she wasn't planning on eating, right?
No.
Pay
She
for
was
the rest
planning
of
on
the
not
stuff in
eating,
this
in
cart.
other words.
Tommy says iPhones and food are the most secure businesses. Yeah, pretty much Samsung's as well. Samsung Galaxy phones are one of the bigger differences in phones. iPhones hold their value so much more. That's one thing people don't talk about. The new Samsung has been announced and it's coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's a monster of a phone. But Jacob will tell you the same thing I tell you. It does not hold the value that an iPhone holds. An iPhone holds its value probably 30% more, 30 to 40% more. Because if you were gonna, so this is a 15 Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max is still worth about $500. where my S21 Ultra is maybe 200, 225.
No,
It's a
it's
huge
probably
difference.
still that, but it's probably still about the same amount as that one is, but it's much, much newer.
But I could get the iPhone with a new battery and everything for $500.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked at what, and this is the 22 Ultra 5G. I can get, well, on trade-in, I can get $650, but if I were to sell it outright, I could get about $500 for it.
Baseball. Of course, Christmas lights don't sell because they're not Christmas lights anymore. It's not Christmas. They are generic lights. They're
Wedding
string
lights.
lights.
Wedding.
There's string lights for your backyard.
A lot of them sell for wedding decor too. I've sold a lot of them.
So, am I the only one that not noticed that? If you go buy a box of GE lights right now, or even during the Christmas season, GE doesn't call them Christmas lights anymore. They call them string lights. They are multicolored string lights. They are white string lights. They are whatever, because they were very, very astutely noticed that there's a much broader market. But if you put the stigma of Christmas on them, it's not a stigma, but don't time bound these things.
Right.
They're string lights. The multicolor ones will sell as well. Tactically, the white ones just outsell them tremendously.
And candy canes never sell in July. No one ever buys them then.
Nobody ever buys candy corn either.
Never.
That's the thing that kills me is people will give away candy corn all through the winter and will beg for it in May, June, and July. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I know.
Yuck. And especially the flavored ones, the ones that are alternatively flavored. Oh. Ugh.
I like it. I love candy corn.
Okay.
You like the
Me
Thanksgiving?
too,
I don't know why.
And folks, you need to understand these phones. There's nothing wrong. So Tommy says like the iPhone 12 is the one that the 11 is where the change happens at the 11 and up, but the 12 is the one with the battery change. But I have a XS Max. Can't even speak. XS Max. They tell you that you can't get this on it because it doesn't. This only works for the 13, 14, 15. I horseshit. I bought a case for the XS Max, which is the 10S, and I put it on the charger, and it has the same. It functions exactly the same. The case turns it into MagSafe. It's amazing. My $10 a month phone has MagSafe charging on it as an XS Max.
Yep.
Because I put the $7.99 case on it that was built with that magnet in the back of it. Imagine that.
Yep.
Black licorice? No.
No, that's a bridge too far.
But it's not popular. So tactically, it's not popular to sell black licorice. You've got to go out and sell Aeropostale jeans or whatever it is because that's what all the young kids are. That's what they're trying to tell you in these. We're going to teach you discipline. Give us $35 a month. We're going to teach you discipline. We're going to teach you to buy mall clothes. We're going to teach you how to list 100 a day or 200 a day, and eventually you're going to have a 60,000 items. So eventually you're going to sell so much a month. And heaven forbid you just you sell items people want.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Necco wafers, nobody wants them. You can't sell those. Go search your thrift stores and spend all this time searching thrift stores, or you can just pick it up at the grocery store or Walmart. God forbid you pay the money for Walmart Plus and they'll drive it to your house.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'll tell you, beards, you're crazy. Oh my God, I went and scanned Walmart beards. You're absolutely crazy. You can't sell any of that on Amazon. You can't make any money. And I'll look at you and go, Did you look at the 2-packs, 3-packs?
Look at the variations.
Did you look at because a huge mistake people make, and this is gold. You need to write this down. Is if you're looking at consumables, so many people will judge a consumable based on a barcode of a single item, and they'll look at it and go, "There's no money in that," and they will go on to the next item. Never, if you type it in, it shows you all the variations and go, "Oh my God, there's 2-packs, 3-packs, 4-packs." Look, if I send it in or I sell it as a 3-pack, I can actually make money on this.
Right.
What do you mean the rank is higher? The rank is lower as a 3-pack than a single. That never happens. People don't want to save money and buy a 3-pack as you make more money selling a 3-pack. That never happens.
Never.
By shipping. So the problem is it's not very popular to teach people to sell on Amazon where their profit margin is going to be like 20%. Because if you want an eBay audience, what does somebody watching an eBay video want to see? I bought this video game for $1 and sold it for $300. That's what they want to see.
Right.
They want to see a holy grail. They want to see, and they think they are naive enough to think I'm not going to drop the S word. They're just naive to think that they're going to go out and find this item. There's a reason why it's $300 is because you can't find it. It is rare. It is hard to find. It is truly a holy grail item. It is truly an item that you can't find. But Necco wafers, Fig Newtons.
Yeah. That's
so boring to sell Fig Newtons. What was that stupid shit? Mincemeat. It is so boring to sell mincemeat.
That mincemeat sucked. Heavy glass jars. Pain in the ass.
Yeah, don't even bother looking them up. It was terrible.
Yeah, those heavy jars. It's terrible to wrap them in bubble wrap and throw them in 8x6x4 box. It's terrible.
So are you telling me you're never going to get YouTube famous selling mincemeat?
No.
I'm gonna change my this channel. The name's gonna be Mincemeat.
Mincemeat picker.
So Josh, the problem is their business model. Josh, they have a catalog and a prescription business that's worth a fortune. But once you on Rite Aid, once you leave the prescription side of their business, it's absolute garbage. I spent 3.5, 4 years going to every Rite Aid I could find. And you could go in a Rite Aid and look around and go, they have stuff that's been here since they opened the damn store. They never had a system to get rid of clearance and to get rid of items in the store because Rite Aid never understood the value of their shelf space.
Well, and what's interesting is Rite Aid purchased my local drugstore, and nothing changed except the computer system. The prices are still sky high. They didn't change a damn thing. So it'll be interesting what happens with those.
So Chris Doherty, I sold 68 jars of mincemeat because that's all I could find. I got into it very late. The buyer's remorse was terrible. You know how many returns I got?
0.
It's food.
I got the exact same amount as Dave did. None.
0.
Not one mincemeat was returned to me. None.
You need to find the supplier of mincemeat and just buy a pallet of it. Make all that money.
I can promise you that this phone right here next year will ding and remind me to buy mincemeat. I can promise you that. It's already in there. I can promise you.
Mincemeat.
In October? Late October?
Yeah, Josh, there's terrible problems with Rite Aid. So, I've spent a lot of time studying Rite Aid and been to. If I've been to one Rite Aid, I've been to 2,800 Rite Aids. It's just a thing, right? So what's the difference between Rite Aid and a Walgreens? What's the one thing you notice about 90% of Walgreens? they're on the corner. Rite Aid is just wherever the fuck they stuck one.
Oh yeah.
Rite Aids are in plazas. Rite Aids are in the middle of the block. Rite Aids are in malls. Rite Aids, they were not very strategic about where they are. Think about a Walgreens and the way they're made. They're on the corner. The stores are shaped to fit the corner. They're in. If you go down these major thoroughfares, you see the Walgreens, and you go, "There's a Rite Aid right here, some damn where. Where the hell is it?"
See, the CVS is across the street from the Walgreens.
If you look at Walgreens and Rite Aid, it's very similar to Walmart and Kmart.
Yep.
You walk it. So I've told people, I'm like, how could I tell I was in a good good Rite Aid? Go to the bathroom. Is there one of those Sharps containers on the wall? Did you have to get a key for the bathroom? You're it's fucking gold. You're going to score with this Rite Aid because it's got shit in there that nobody's bought for the last 30 years. When's the last time you went in a Walgreens and found does the Rite Aid have a security guard at the door? Because there are a lot of those have, so you got a checklist: security guard, check; bathroom lock, check; Sharps container, check. I'm not leaving this store without a basket. I'm being funny, but it's the God's honest truth. The Walgreens down the street's on the corner. It's on a bright corner. It's a nice lot. It's very rare do they have a security guard. Sometimes they have those little silver rails where you can go in and out one way. But for the most part, it's a well-lit lot. It's a nice area. Next to a Dollar General or Food Line, yeah. It's real estate. If you don't learn anything, what's the most valuable thing about McDonald's? Is it the Big Mac?
Nope.
McDonald's is a real estate company.
Yeah.
The land that their stores sell on, because if you're an owner operator of a McDonald's, you have a 20-year lease. In order to renew the 20-year lease, you ever notice how you never find a lot of McDonald's that are over 20 years old? Because in order to renew the lease, you have to scrape and rebuild for the most part the building. They don't let them go that long. They're very rare that you see an old McDonald's. How did they all of a sudden start changing over? They all have these nice concepts where they've got these leather couches and big screen TVs, and all of a sudden all the McDonald's felt very comfortable. It's because as a corporation, they own the land, and they go, you know what? If you don't spend the money on this, we're just not going to renew the lease. There's at 7 years, every 7 years they have a mini renewal, and every 20 you have to renew the entire. I believe it's 20. You have to renew the entire lease. I didn't say I ate there. I'm just telling you about the buildings. Trip Little. So Walgreens tried to buy half of Rite Aid, and the FTC shot that down. Said they're too much of a monopoly. They only let them buy a third, maybe a little less than a third. They bought most of the South, so there's no Rite Aids in Georgia anymore. There's none in Alabama anymore. There's none in Tennessee. The closest Rite Aid to me now, there's none in North Carolina. There's some in Virginia. There's some in Ohio. There's none in Kentucky anymore.
I want to thank John real quick. I just made a $200 sale on a paint by numbers. So I hit the like button. So thanks, John. I appreciate it.
I missed the show earlier. Every time.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, a couple sales.
I bought two of those. I bought two of those at an auction, and I was bidding, and the auctioneer dropped the hammer on it, and there were two of them together, and I picked them both up. And she goes, "That was just for one." The lady told me it was just for one, and I picked them both up because the way they'd been selling stuff all day is that if it's in a lot, it's in a lot. And she got mad at me, and the auctioneer looked at me and he goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, they're together. They're a lot." And he goes, "Okay." And the lady started arguing with him, and I looked at her and I go, "Are you running this auction or is he running this auction?" I said, "Because I think he's running this auction." And it made her mad. So she went in and paid and left. and then I got everything cheap that day. So it's like, you hurt my feelings. You went home, and I got everything I wanted.
So I don't know why I even let John on the program anymore.
Badass John.
It's a Friday show, and he brings somebody on from Alabama, and it's not me. What the hell?
What the hell, man?
Whoever would have imagined that? That's terrible.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I haven't heard Refco over years, but I remember Refco growing up. They were in North Carolina when I grew up, all those years ago in the 70s.
I just had a sale as well. Somebody bought about $80 worth of soda.
John, you suck. Where's my sale? I thumbed your video up.
Well, yeah, I actually see you. Since you have the camera on your hand, I can, verify it. I didn't see it this time.
Did you lick your thumb before you hit the button? Because it's just
it's a thumb licking deal now.
And then you hit it, and it's
Right.
sometimes
Okay.
it's the technique. It's how you hit it. Like thumbs up button.
Does it work after that? Can I go back?
It's absolutely amazing, though, the lessons that if you study history and study business and study what happened. So what do you learn with Kmart and Walmart? I could tell you what you learn on eBay right now. All these morons that are forming the unions that don't want to promote and don't want to do everything that eBay is trying to roll out. That is the Kmart group of folks. Do you want to align yourself with the Kmart group of folks and go, we've always done this. This is the way we're going to do it. Or do you want to be with the group of folks that are going to go, you know what? Maybe I don't like it as much. We're not making this quite as much money, but we're still selling stuff and we're going to stay in business. I can support my family. Which way do you line yourself? Study history, study business. There's going to be that oddball. I'm not saying it's 100% for a fact. There's going to be folks out there that go, well, my product mix is working just fine and I can continue to do the old way. There are exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, if you buck the trend of the platform and don't follow the way things are going, eventually you'll just kind of slowly fade out into the sunset and be gone and go, I fucking hate Kmart. They're gone. No, you're living the Kmart life right now. I understand that it's very important that you keep up what's going on. Understand the direction of the platform, the direction of where people are going, their taste change. The way people buy things change, what they buy changes, the economy change. There's so much that goes on, and it's so complicated by product mixes and what people buy. It's not as simple as, man, fuck, eBay search sucks. That's right, it sucks. It sucks no worse than Amazon search sucks. And Amazon sells 10 times, 20 times, 100 times eBay. Go look for something on Amazon right now and tell me that it's any worse than eBay. It's not.
Yeah, I get my boxer shorts from Kmart. Oak and Burnett Street, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Kent, let's look at malls right now. I will take you to Madison Square Mall right now, and I was at Madison Square Mall today. It just happened to be Trader Joe's because they leveled that motherfucker like 5 years ago. And they're right in the middle of Madison Square Mall. There are a bunch of Tesla chargers right now. Gone. They're just I'm so tired of listening to people on eBay, on YouTube, bitch, moan, and complain and fight, scream. They can clearly see that that not changing and not keeping up with the times and not following what people want and doing all the things that you need to do to stay relevant in this day and time. They can't understand that if you do those things, you're successful. They can see it at Kmart and they can understand it. They can see these other stores that are. Let's go to Woolworths. Big store in the 70s when I was growing up was Woolworths. Roses. There's still Roses around. They suck. There are lots of stores you can sit around. Look at all these restaurants and stuff that have gone under. It's because they missed the market. They missed changing times. as it could be as simple as these big cities have moved out in the suburbs. They stayed in the malls and they couldn't move out. These brands are gone. These stores are gone. You miss Parkway Mall. That was almost like a dungeon. That big had no windows. That big brick thing.
We still have a Roses about a half a mile down the road.
We've got a Roses here too, but is it in the bad section like ours is?
It's right on Main Street, right next to the movie theater.
But it's
Burger King can close every last store, and I will do a happy dance.
I haven't been to Burger King for a while. Well, let's just say Woolworth's Cafe. That was a good thing, man. I remember Woolworth's Cafe. Those are good. Nostalgia. There's not a bad thing with nostalgia, but you've got to understand. You can look back and go, "I miss that," but times have changed. Just because me and you miss it doesn't mean the rest of the world misses that kind of stuff. I think I might have mentioned on one of the shows watching for the first time in quite a few years, watching Christmas Vacation made me really sad. Normally I laugh my ass off with it, but by the time I got done with it this last time I watched it, I really realized how much I missed the 80s. That was the end of the 80s. It really reminded me of the people that were there, and I was a teenager in the 80s. It's a much simpler time.
I get you, man.
Nobody tracked you in the 80s.
Yeah.
You'd be on your bicycle and go to the outside and be free.
Right.
The 90s, they tricked you with them damn pagers, and then they brought cell phones into the world, and then it's over.
Right.
Pagers.
Tricked you with the pagers. I get
Pagers. What a crock of shit those things were. My dad used to have a beep. They called them beeper. They started out by calling them beepers. That probably wasn't very popular, so they became pagers. But yeah, it's just that was a method of control. Tony called me last night and had the nerve to ask me where I was. I'm like, what do you mean? Where am I at?
What? The nerve.
Did you not look at the location on my phone? You can tell me exactly where I'm at. I know. I just thought I'd ask. I'm like, you don't get to hide anymore.
Right. This is exactly where you are.
Unless you grew up in the 80s, you just don't know. The last generation of freedom was the 80s.
Yep.
The 80s.
Riding your bicycle. Well, I got my bike right there. That's the bike I always wanted. And when I got old enough to afford it, I can't ride it.
You're too young. You didn't live through those. Those bikes were. I lived with those bikes.
I did too, man.
Yes,
I was
you grew up in the
late
60s.
80s. Late 80s. I was born in 79. So by 80, I was 10 years old and, 89. I
was born in 69. I don't want to hear it.
You ain't dead. You'd be like same age as you, same age as my brother, my older brother, my big brother. He was born in August.
Punks.
Oh,
Hey, Larry.
God. We got
Todd,
we
Grew up
got
in the 60s. That was the generation right there.
Tell us, we were born in the 60s. We don't want to hear it.
You guys didn't. You guys had good music in the 60s, like in the late 60s, but that stuff in the early 60s, it just ain't for me.
Oh, come on.
Like about the time the sports cars, the Mustangs and the Camaros and the Firebirds and the Chevelles, when all that stuff started popping, then the music started getting good.
If you didn't live in the 70s with a banana seat Schwinn with a banana seat on it, I don't want to hear you. You are not legitimate.
That was my first bike, but it was in '86.
Big banana seat.
Remember the ones with the shifters on them? I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Those probably did a lot of damage. to young men.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the challenge we have as folks. I would tell you right now, there's 91 of you. Let's still listen after a couple hours, and I appreciate you putting up with drunk me. But the sooner you realize you are not a reseller, the better off you are. You're a business owner. You're a business person, and you've got to think that way. You've got to see everything through the lens of a business owner. That's my challenge for this year, for me especially, is to develop the business side of me, and to be a better business person, to be better organized, to look at trends, to look at things in a much different lens. It is a progression that you have to stay in business this long. It's going to get more and more complicated. There are going to be more platforms. There are going to be more rules. There are going to be more competition. There's more segmentation. All the things that are going to occur that are going to make platforms are going to change rules. They're going to screw up. Amazon gets a pass on most of the stuff, but they screw up just as bad as eBay. You just don't hear about it.
Can I push back a little bit? So when we had Pete on our podcast, he said something that resonated with me. He said that if you're a reseller and that business can't rely on continuing unless you're there with it 24/7, it's just a glorified job. You're not really a business unless that thing can run itself when you're not there.
You're self-employed at best, right?
If you get sick, let's say you're out for a week or two, your business goes to shit. It's done. No one to ship your items, no one to list your items. So he had a point. That's one thing that he said that resonated with me.
Yeah, I think though it's important to have the mentality of a business owner, even if you are a single self-employed person.
That misses the point. You don't devalue yourself just because you have built a business that relies on you as the sole person in it. Doesn't make you any less important as a business owner, as someone who has employees and has removed themselves from the business. It makes you no less a business owner, and to look at yourself less because you do the work is, I think, you do yourself a disservice, and you limit your future. Because if you look down upon yourself because I choose to be the only person in my business, that makes it less that I'm less of a business person. This is less of a business because I don't have employees.
Not less of a person, just what you're doing is not. It's a way to make money, way to bring in income, and I don't think he was disparaging, me or Josh by saying that, but he did make a point that if something was to happen, that business crashes without you. You get sick for a week or two. Then what?
Yeah, even Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about how there's a difference between a self-employed person and a business owner, an investor, and of course, or an employee. And he talks about the differentiation and how you can traverse from one to the other. But I think to Scott's point too is that whatever is valuable to one person is important.
But my way.
I do get
my
his
way
point.
is much more common than what his way is. Look at the way we've built the United States for the last however many years. The family farm. How much has been put on the husband of the family farm, who's run the family farm while the wife has raised the kids? What happens if the father dies and the kids aren't old enough to take over? It's you're looking at, it's just a different version of the same business that's been perpetuated for the last since for centuries.
Right.
Don't devalue. It's just a different form of business, one that has employees that you are becoming out of it. Don't get me wrong, I could build that damn business. I have no problems building that business. I do not want that. I don't want employees. I managed employees for 25 years. No. I understand that today I was tired of being a social worker. I was tired of being everything to these people. I want I got enough voices in my head. I don't need somebody else's.
Well, the idea of extra overhead, and employees and dealing with payroll never really.
Depends on how you sell. I mean, you sell a lot of FBA, and I can be sick for 2 weeks and not have to do anything.
Right.
Money keeps coming in. I have been.
That's I call that a hybrid, Dave. Using FBA is really. I talk about it a lot. It's like hiring an employee. It's using Amazon as an employee for the most part.
You're outsourcing is what you're doing.
You're outsourcing part of, but I'm not saying negative about Pete because I think the world of Pete. That's a smart dude, man. He's made it in a world. He's done well.
Yeah.
But he is just outsourcing to local people. It's the same thing, versus FBA. There are ways to do it.
Yeah. But it's like what you're saying, Scott. Though, is that if you keep your FBA up, your business can continue to drift. At least it might not necessarily go up in value or go up in revenue, but at least it'll drift if you're using things to your advantage, like FBA. I think is what you're saying, right?
But the same thing. But if you took Pete out of it, Pete's business is not going to go up. Pete's business is dependent on his knowledge and his participation. It'll get by for the 3 or 4 or an extended period of time, but his is not going to grow either.
Yeah. Right. No, I agree.
You got FBA, you got WFS.
Because there's a huge difference between where Pete is and where Big John is.
Yep.
John is damn near removed himself from it. His brother is basically the operations manager and does most of the order. John has made himself the operations and the idea guy, and he continues to help make relationships and move things forward. But his brother is the boots on the ground. And so there are different levels. I mean, there's not a right or a wrong one, folks. Understand where you are and what it takes. If you're worried about being the sole business and maybe your husband or wife has to take over for a minute, if you're write down your procedures, show them what you do. Make it easier to ship, so all they have to do is find your inventory and ship it. Make it where you can survive these things. Put safeguards in place. Put the guardrails up to keep it to where you can get there. It can be done.
Save money and don't have a nest egg, so if something bad happens, you're not having to worry as much.
So Pete said, I need to watch that. I have not watched that one yet. I'll admit that. I have not watched the one with Pete yet.
That was our best one. Actually, well, that was our second best one. The best one was when Beard was on. I'll say that.
I was about to give you grief, so thank you.
I have to say that, right? Kind of forced it.
Oh, that was great, John. Stick it to the man.
I've been listening to so many books and stuff, though. My focus has been everywhere. I'm listening to Gary Vee right now. Crushing It 2 is the book that I've chosen as my third book. That'll be my fourth book, and that'll be the first one in February. Never Split. That's the next one for everybody to read. So if you want to talk with us about it. So Trina, I see you in here. Make sure you read that one because you were so good with the first book. You get to help me talk through the second book too. Thanks for volunteering.
I think I can relate more to this book than the first one, but I'm going to go back and reread the other one probably later this year again.
See, that's the nice thing I like about the Audible is you download the books, and so you can listen to them as many times as you want. Because so listening to Gary Vee now, he's interviewing, he's talking to one of the guys because Gary Vee's book are stories of success about crushing it, and the guy immediately tells him, he goes, I had to listen to one of your books 3 times before it finally made sense, before it finally hit me, and so folks, don't beat yourself up. If something doesn't make sense, or if you need to remind yourself or listen to it more than once, it's not a bad thing. I can't tell you how many times I revisit a subject and learn something different every time through it. It's absolutely amazing the amount that so Josh, your book 0 to 1 keeps showing up every time I search for a list of books of things to read. 0 to 1 keeps showing up. So I might have to read Peter Thiel's book a little early, and then just because I've got it down the list somewhere, I might have to go ahead and do it. Yeah, Josh, he is a bit of a hype man. He's very inspiring. I've listened to Gary Vee since I've been reselling, pretty much since Gary Vee started. In the early days, everybody goes, "Oh, he cusses too much." I'm like, I didn't notice.
Here's one for you. It's a book for you on Audible.
On F you?
On whatever. You can
On
say
F
that.
Yourself? Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
It is good.
Yeah, that's a very good one. On F Yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I listen to a lot of YouTube videos. I need to start listening to some of these audiobooks.
You know what? Sometimes the author, though, is just drab. It's hard to follow, and they get these guys that just have no business reading books out loud for a living.
Okay, so there is a difference. So the first one I did was Profit First, and Mike read it, and the author reading it was great. You hear some insights, and you know he can talk to you about it. The second one was somebody reading Built to Sell for that author, and I was not really into it. I mean, I learned some things, but I wasn't overly into it. But now this one with Gary reading his own book, because he'll stop himself. He's like, "Yeah, this is not in the book, but I should have put this in there." So Gary's got some insight into it. So I'm much more into that. So it makes a huge difference in audiobooks. If it's a book that the author takes the time to do the audiobook of it, to me it's much better.
Yeah.
The one that the author did that I really liked was "The End of the World Is Just the Beginning" with Peter Zehan, I think is how you pronounce his name, and he was really entertaining. It's about the end of globalization. So it's a good book.
Come on, Tiny Hands Larry, you can read a book. You can listen to a book.
Oh, that one's available right away. I've read it or listened to it once before, but
yeah,
I'll add that right away back. I thank you for reminding me about that one, John. We'll add that one right after I finish the.
Okay, so my next one. I'm gonna finish Gary's book this weekend, and then I'll start on the one for the group. But then I'll do that one afterwards, and then I'm gonna have to do 0 to 1 after that. 0 to 1 would be my third book in February because it's been suggested so many times.
Yeah.
Every list I read, it comes up on. So it's gonna. What is this thing called? A book. The one we're doing this month is it's the yellow book right there. The Hand and then Jake Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss. It's about negotiating. He is a FBI crisis negotiator who wrote a book. So he's reading High Performance Habits.
I love the haggle. Do y'all haggle?
Oh yeah.
I hate haggling. I'm horrible at
love
it. It gives me anxiety.
I was raised on haggling.
See, I'm terrible at it, John. That's why I'm really looking forward to this book. I think that's something I can prove for myself. And that was one of the somebody suggested it, and I started looking at it. I'm like, man, I moved it up the list because I wanted to do it before yard sale season. I think that's the first on the ground where I'll use it, but I really think that's going to be something that in life, because everything in life is a deal making and trying to.
That surprises me about you, John. You don't haggle?
No. Oh, yeah, I do. Those are the yard sales in my area tomorrow.
I
love it. My thought is they can always say no. You know their price. So if you ask them at a yard sale how much you want for this $10 and you come back and say $5, they can they have a couple options. They can say no. They can say how about 7 or 8 or yes, right? But if you never ask, well, you're going to pay 10.
There you go.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Rad relics. You
Well,
don't
for me,
haggle?
no,
I
I
love
don't
it.
because I want to get to the. Here's the deal: if I can buy this shirt at a yard sale for $5, and I can sit there and try to haggle with them for 2 or 3 extra minutes and try to get it for $3, or I can just say, "Here's $5, get in my car and beat the competition to the next yard sale." That's the way I try to justify it in my mind instead of trying to go back and forth for a couple bucks at a yard sale. I don't enjoy it. I just want to get the goods and go. Now, here's the deal. If it's something like this and this sells and it's close to where I can make money on it, say they want 20 for it, I might say, would you take 15? But like most of the time, I'm not like really pressuring. I suck at sales. I sold mobile homes for a living, and it's the only job I was ever fired from because I could not close the sale. I couldn't do it. It was high pressure. I felt like I was screwing people, like I was selling them a $100,000 mobile home. I just couldn't do it.
So I was the same way with cars, John. I did cars for $3, and I love a car. I love everything about cars. I'm a car freak, and it was Nissans, and I had a 300ZX, and I love the Z line. Couldn't close or sell a car to save my ass.
I would think that you could sell ketchup popsicles to a woman wearing white gloves. You just have what it takes, but not me. Like you
consider, John, if you consider the fact that it doesn't take but 30 seconds to ask the guy, I mean, if they'll take 5 for it, and he'll come back and say 8, or he'll come back and say yes or no, whatever. You do that for 20 items that you buy throughout a day when you're out yard selling, and you save $2 on average. You just save $40.
I mean, I get
no more than 5 or 10 extra minutes in your day doing that.
I mean, I get you, but around here it's just tough, and we don't have many. To be honest, the reason why I don't have a picker channel like where I go out and do yard selling content, it's because we don't have yard selling content, and the stuff that we do, it's a bunch of meth heads trying to sell tin cans on a table in front of their house, and there's just not good stuff out here. It just sucks. Like if you play
tin cans.
Yeah, if you play Monopoly, that first blue square right past go, that's where I live at. It's the armpit of the United States. Like there just isn't that good stuff. Like the clothing is typically Walmart or something like that. Like it's just I don't go yard. I don't live in Vegas. I don't live in Miami. I don't live in Huntsville, where I live in the middle of nowhere, and I go to auctions. That's how I source most of my stuff. So like I probably would like if I got used to it, but I am very introverted, and I hate haggling. I hate it. I hated it when people would bring stuff to my store whenever I was open. Whenever they would come in, they'd be like, I've got this video game console. What do you want to give me for it? I would be like, well, I'd give you half. I was like, I'll give you half of whatever it's worth. And then I found out that I had to test them because people were bringing me junk in, and I'm buying. It's just tough. It's tough. It's my personality. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm wrong. You're right.
Well, to me, it's just a challenge. It's a game. Yeah. It's a game.
I like playing a good game of spades or solitaire, but I'm not good at playing games with other people. I suck at it.
So this would be interesting. So John and I are a lot alike. So we're both introverts and we both hate hack. Is that a thing? So for people in the chat, there's 92 of you. If you consider yourself an introvert, do you struggle with haggling?
I am not an introvert, and I don't.
I'm an extrovert.
Struggle with.
I'm definitely an introvert, and I will haggle. I haggled when I was in Shanghai, and I didn't even know the language. I just typed it in on my calculator, and I said, "How about this?"
There you go, Jake. I'm your man. I'm behind you all the way, Jake.
I don't struggle with haggling because I didn't really use that tactic until I hit yard sales. And when you first do yard sales and you learn from people, that's how they do it. You just kind of think that's the way it is. Like someone like the Art of Resell. I mean, he'll ask the person, how much is it? Oh, $10. So he knows in his mind he doesn't want to pay $10, but what he'll do is, can I make a pile? Of course, you're going to buy half my yard sale. Sure, go ahead and make a pile. And then you get that pile, and then they start counting it up and like, okay, what's the best you'll do? They're at 50, they may come down to 40, and that happens almost every time when he's at a yard sale, because he buys it and makes a bundle, he'll get a better deal because of it. And you see that, and you incorporate that into what you do, and it works. It just works.
So very interesting. So Biff Boffo says he's a major introvert until I'm at a garage sale, and then he'll make small talk.
Yeah.
So I do a little bit. So at yard sale, the one thing I can tell you is to get better at that is one thing just to try it and do it because John on the bottom is telling it flipping ain't easy, is telling you right. The worst they can say is no. So once you accept that fact, Harlan is really good at it, and so Harlan chastises me until I get lower prices. So have that friend that that knows your weakness, and you're not scared to say, "Hey, I suck at this." Berate me until I'm good at it, and so Harlan just goes, "Challenge accepted." I'm like, how about this? Well, let's sell it Van Massey. Go, yeah, if you get it for $3, go offer him $3. I'm like, well, shit. All right, will you take $3? I'll come back and go, what'd you do? I'm like, he took $3. I'm like, damn right he did. I'm like,
like Tommy would say, I hate taking lowball offers. We all hate taking lowball offers. What I'm not saying, look, the guy wants $10 here. I'll give you $1. How about that? No, that would be the equivalent of a lowball offer at a yard sale. What I'm saying is, they say 10. How about would you consider 5? Now, in your mind, you're thinking they may say yes, but they may come up to say 7 or 8, and then you just take the deal if it's worth it. And that's the same thing that we do when we have best offer selected. You have $50 item, they come at you for 30. That's not a low ball offer. That's respectable. How about let's meet in the middle at 40? And many times they'll do it. And I don't think that's a low ball offer.
But there's also, there's two different kinds of sellers. There's two different kinds of garage sales too. You got the ones that don't care. They want the stuff gone.
Yes.
They don't care. But there's the ones that will pack it up and put it out again next year. And the year after that. And the year after that. And you've been to those,
Right. The ones you got to avoid, can't haggle with. The ones you can't haggle with are the ones that have Amazon returns all over their yard sale in boxes. I immediately look around. I don't even make offers. I walk away because I know I'm dealing with a reseller.
Coming for the carry.
See, whenever I try to bundle stuff, I'll make a pile, and then they'll start going through it, and they'll be like, "You owe $50," and I go, "Okay, here's $50," and I just take my stuff and leave. I'm not like. I should be like, would you take 40? But I suck at math, just adding stuff and trying to keep, if I tried to add everything up in my head and with my ADHD going down, I'd be like, would you take 60? And I'd be like, get back home and $50 worth of stuff there. I'd be like, I screw myself. I'd be doing it like Froggy Flips. Here's an extra $5, just because you're a swell guy.
And tipping them.
And happened to me. I bought $2 shots. So how much are these shoes? Oh, they're $2. So I'm like, all right. So I started going through this tote of shoes, and I started pulling a bunch out. I said, I'm going to go ahead and make a pile. Went through some of the stuff on the table, made a pile. And then I'm thinking it's going to be like $40. And then she's like, it's like 55. I'm like, how? And she's like, well, some of it's theirs. So it's like, okay, so the price changed. So I wasn't going to haggle. I felt it out. To me, it was still worth what I got. I paid it. So I was thinking $2 a pair. I paid more like $4 or $5 a pair. So there's a point where you can kind of feel out the conversation and tell that, that's the best you're going to do, and you just either take it or leave it.
So Biff Boffo is saying that if you walk away, they'll cave, and that does happen a lot. But the superpower you have, and Harlan has this in spades. I watch it all the time. And I'm like, man, I wish I had the patience to do this. Is silence. Somebody will tell him a price, And I'm sitting there thinking, damn, he's gonna jump on that. That's a good price. And he won't say anything until he forces them to say something else. Like, maybe they're reconsidering their price. And I'm like, I wish I was that good. I'll just be paying him like John, like Rad Relics, and be gone.
But he's just standing there. So they say $10 and he just looks at him and stands there, or what? That's awkward.
All right.
It's,
Keeps moseying and looking around.
and he'll get them to even reduce the price without him even saying anything. And I'm like, dude, you're a freaking genius. and I see him do it all. I've been going to yard sales with this dude for 3 years, and I still can't do it.
Josh, I might be a machine doing 5 hours with the podcast today, but the last 2 hours I've been buying stuff online, so it's like I've been multitasking too. So,
and Kent, that's 100% correct. The one who speaks first generally loses.
Yep.
And that's another one at Harlan School of trying to teach the beard how to be better at this. Is it's like, if they force me to say something, I'm gonna kick them square in the nuts.
Right.
Well, and that's right.
I'm gonna hit them so low that Connie's gonna get excited. They're gonna get him so low.
The thing that I absolutely hate is when a person knows you and they're like, I know you won't do me wrong. I know you're going to be fair. And I'm just like, I hate you. I hate you. Stop. Like, I'm in this to feed my family, not be your best friend. Like, I'll give you like one of the things that people, if I didn't want to throw a price out, because it's the same thing that Harlan does, never price another person's item. If you're like, well, how much would you pay me for this shirt? I know you'll give me a good price, because they know that I know my prices, and I am always too high. Whenever if I walked up and had all these, here's a bunch of little minifigures from Lego. Like, if I seen that at a yard sale, I'm thinking, man, that's probably worth like $50. And I know they're thinking like 10, but like, I'm too afraid to say like 10. I'm like, 10. I'll give you 10 for it.
And so Harlan will straight up tell you, if somebody asks him, what do you think? He'll look right at them and say, well, I can't sell it and buy it.
Yeah,
I don't have that ability, and I wish he was in the chat, but he's been like 4 or 5 days without his woman, so I understand where he's at. But
hey, Beard, you know I like this conversation so much. You know why I like it? Because I get to put these practices into play tomorrow.
I saw that one coming.
I want you to buy something
all day long.
But that's the point. Is I never show my cards first.
I want you to buy something good tomorrow when you realize I'm in the South, and that's Saturday tomorrow. My high tomorrow is 22.
That sounds fun, actually.
What are you, about the same as us, John? 60s?
Yeah, 60s. I may wear shorts tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, shut it.
I might wear some next week.
Mr. Sadie said, hey, Rad, John, you were a great reseller before you went broke at a yard sale.
I'll go to the yard sale and think, you know what? I'm gonna just take it easy today. And then my whole SUV is filled. Just I can't put any more stuff in it. I'm driving home, and it's like, what the hell did I just do?
All right, so Bama J Bird, I'm at. You're only like 50 miles from here. I'm gonna have to meet you one of these days.
Oh yeah.
64.
I lived in Tuscaloosa for 17 years. Their yard sales in Tuscaloosa suck. Tuscaloosa yard sales suck. Huntsville yard sales, they suck. Don't come up here either.
Like one time I went to a private pick, and it was at a doctor's. It was at a doctor who had moved away to Texas, and he conscripted this lady to sell everything that was left at his house that he didn't want. I go in, and there's a bunch of vintage Sansui stereo equipment. I don't really know a ton about it, but I'm like, I want it. And there was this couple of violins, and I ended up like, I knew this stuff was probably worth like a couple grand. And I asked the lady, was like, what do you want to pay for it? And I'm like, I don't want to say. I'm not going to say. You tell me. What are you thinking? And I said, I want all this stuff right here. And she goes, well, would $75 be too much for it? And I walked over to the stereo equipment and I looked at it. I flipped a couple switches. I looked at her and I almost said, have you tested it? And I didn't have the heart to say, have you tested it? And I go, I'll take it. And I ended up selling that stereo equipment for $3,600. So that sometimes my weirdness works out. Now, people probably think I'm a crook and I don't really care, because I ended up buying a violin from the same sale for $100 and we just sold it for $1,200, $1,300. So that $175 made me nearly $5,000. So sometimes being weird and awkward, it works out. Because if I'd have been like, I'd give you $1,000 for this stuff, I'd have probably never got it, because she'd have been wondering why I wanted to pay her $1,000 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the word Sansui is on it, it's worth a fortune. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, it was the nice stuff. It was all imported, and he had these big speakers, and they were solid mahogany, like wood, and they had these panels on the front of them. I'm like, they were all mid-century. They look real mid-century. I'm like, I don't know what they're worth, but they've got to be worth something. And that was probably the best pick I've ever been on. And I'm just like, I don't care. When somebody prices something, I've had people tell me, how do you sleep at night? And I said, real easy. I pull the blanket up right to my chin and turn the fan on, and I never think about it again.
So for those of you in the chat who have children, and you're not good at haggling, you are carrying around an atomic bomb that you do not know about. Because if you want to know a price of something and you don't want to haggle about it, send your kid to ask about it. It's amazing the price kids get at yard sales.
Yeah.
How many times have I seen kids? Oh, you can just have it. Oh, honey, that's $1. It's amazing that if you've got a child that you take with you, they're old enough to go ask for a price. It's amazing. People just melt. They will tell a kid little to nothing.
How do you feel about buying lemonade from a lemonade stand at a yard sale?
Harlan does every single one of them. I'm generally on keto and don't.
I'll give him the $2.
I'll tell them that here you go. I'm not going to drink it, but here's for the lemonade or whatever. It's generally what I do.
I imagine that every kid goes like this and then sticks his hand in the lemonade. Here's $1, kid. Just don't spend it all in one place.
A lot of times, I mean, it's 50-50. It'll either be good or he'll be pouring it out down the street, one or the other. But so Sweetwater General Store wants to know anybody selling whatnot. I have a few times. I have it in several years. I don't think anybody on here sells whatnot. Pat Dees,
so it's not for me.
Pat Dees does. I mean, I've got friends that sell on whatnot, and it's like anything else. It's just if you've got the right items and the right cost, and have can follow their systems and be consistent, it's as good a platform as anywhere else. And
I sold one T-shirt on there, and I had hundreds of T-shirts. I have stuff like this, brand new Y2K, like LA St. Louis Rams with a holograph stick, and they're like $1. And I'm like, I sold one shirt after 20 minutes of trying, and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'll just list them on eBay.
Well, it's just like Worldwide Weber says, John. A rummage sale, they're there. It's typically donated. Give them what see what they want. It's their call.
Yeah.
So Sweetwater General Store, you're 100% correct. If you get good at it, I know quite a few people that source a lot on whatnot because you get good at figuring out, where the deals are. Newer sellers, following those kind of things, you can actually get really good deals. So that.
Here's a pro tip, Scott. You hang out, and this is, I know some people already think I'm a bad guy, but I really am not a bad guy. But pro tip is go on Facebook and hang out in the whatnot Facebook groups, and then when someone's like, "It's my first whatnot sale," you go in and you support and you buy stuff, and you typically get it really cheap because they're throwing it up for $1 or $2. Going in there, like, I feel bad, but I'm there to support, and there's been times that I've bid people's stuff up pretty good, but I get a lot of really good stuff that way.
I think you're a bad person.
It's okay. I am. I mean, between ripping off the lady with the $4,000 worth of stereo equipment, it's about making money, man. You don't get this lovely type of stuff with selling. Maybe you could mincemeat. Maybe the mincemeat headquarters. That's what I'm gonna do.
I just had a strange thing happen during this live. I sold an Alabama license plate on Poshmark and a pair of Nikes on Mercari. Kind of bad, isn't it?
It wasn't me. I didn't buy it.
I sold 2 of those. I sold both of those, John. Thank you. Both of those paint by numbers. I've made. I'm up to $520 for the day. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And Scott, it's the bearded luck.
So I believe in luck the same way Big John believes in luck. It's labor under correct knowledge, folks. It's you'd be amazed that if you do the right things and continue to work your processes and work your sources you'll be amazed how lucky you get. You look at some people and go, man, I can't believe how lucky they are until you understand how hard they work.
I'm gonna take it, buddy. You get it. You beat me up. This guy's beat me up for this damn puppet, and I'm just gonna sell it to him for $20.
Someone help me solve a mystery. I keep receiving these messages from Poshmark telling me that my referral so and so just joined Poshmark. I don't know these people. It says you're one step closer to $10. I get like 4 or 5 of these a day, and they're different people, and I don't know a soul.
Did you share your Poshmark link in one of your videos?
No, I have not.
Then I don't know.
Don't they just like attack you when you first sign up? Isn't that what happened, Scott? Like we got like X amount of people follow you, and out of nowhere,
I don't know.
I stopped looking at it.
And random people joining under my name, and I'm like, I don't know how, because I don't really talk about Poshmark in my videos. I don't put links.
Do you have a link somewhere at all?
No. Yeah, Tommy gets hundreds of them a month. What are they? Why? I mean, why are they?
You get a $10 coupon.
No, they have to buy something. They never do.
Okay.
So I don't understand what's happening. Is this Poshmark's way of building up their numbers, or what's happening? Why, if Tommy's getting them, he has a channel, but he hasn't posted on there in a long time. So where are they getting his information? Where are they getting mine?
Jack,
anything. I have 200.
Jack, who blocked you last night? Wear that shit as a badge of honor.
Where do you get blocked at?
Yes, if one of my mods blocked you off of my show. Let me guess.
Oh,
is that what happened? Is it my show?
I think they're talking about the podcast. Trash.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm usually the FCKR.
Tell Dave to shut up.
Dave comes off as a super nice guy, but I think there's some lurking underneath there. I don't think he takes much crap on people. He's always talking about blocking people in his videos. He's like, that's
which is weird because they give Kevin so much hell. He should block them.
I know. I don't know why
he says they're good guys, so I believe him. So I'm all right. But he says that he's all right with us, so I'm all right.
I don't know. Somebody.
I watch such little reselling content. It's just. So I took a nap today because I took some Advil because I was hurting from my unfortunate accident with the Karma, and I was watching car wrecks when I fell asleep. I was watching car wrecks when I woke up. I had to quit watching Alabama football because I was getting too obsessed with that. Yeah. I watch sailing channels. I watch van life channels. I watch the iPhone channels, technology. He's 5'2". He has to be angry. Wow.
I don't think he's that short. I think he's like 5'6". I don't think he's that short.
That's funny. That's funny, Tommy.
If everybody's not for everybody, and you got to accept that, especially if you're going to do any kind of social media. Not everybody's going to like you. You know, if you have an opinion, they're generally not going to like you. You know, I'm Generation X. I'm an old guy. You know, I went for a long time telling you that, you know, don't get this. You know, everything is stolen, and now that they, you know, oh my God, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that, and then, you know how many people have come back and said, oh my God, that was the truth. You were so smart for telling us. You were looking out for us. Not a fucking soul. None. They probably died.
You know you're doing well on YouTube when you start getting a lot of troll comments because they're pushing your content out to people who don't know you. So take it as a badge of honor.
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit of Whistling Diesel, but
He's awesome.
He's a little bit of he gets a little too cocky every now and then for my taste.
But that's just part of his shtick. That's like, you know, it's the character he's playing. It's just what makes it so funny. I hope it is not like
John Worldwide, wherever you're never gonna wonder what I think. I'll just tell you, I don't really give to. I try to tell you both sides of the story, especially with reselling. If it's something good or bad, I try to tell you my opinion. You know, so I was looking for books. This is I'm gonna make a YouTube short about this. I meant to, and I'm terrible about making videos. But I was looking for them, and one of the groups that I had to look business books, and it had a memorable quote in each book. And one of the quotes in one of the books was, I forget which one it was that it is worse for you to hear bad advice than not hear any advice at all. And I thought about that. I'm like, how many resellers need to hear that they are worse off to hear bad advice than none. And it can apply to anything in life. Don't get me wrong. It can, you know, and so the lesson is that, you know, you need to hear different points of view. You need to hear a couple people. Never trust wholly what someone tells you. You know, verify that source and make sure what they tell you is right. But
here's the point, though. Good advice for me for what I'm doing might be horrible advice for what you're doing.
Oh, 100% correct.
And I think the way the information is presented sometimes is it's just like one size fits all. Because I'll tell people what I do and what I'm doing, and it's working for me, but someone out there selling something totally different, and it's a disaster for them, and then they're pissed off at me, you know.
Sparkulators, oh yeah. It's them damn lightning hoses.
Sparkulators.
Yeah. So there's a guy. He's got a huge channel, Vice Grip Garage. He was in Wisconsin, and he moved everything down here to Tennessee. He's in Lewisburg, Tennessee. It's about an hour from here.
He's such a nice guy, man. I really like him.
And so he's another one of those guys. Family guy. The last one of them I really enjoyed was he's got a kid that's turning 15 or 16, and you know he's like, you know, my son's been talking a lot about this Mustang he picked up somewhere. It's been a couple years ago, and had a blown engine in it. So him and when the other son got home, he'd work on it all day, and when his other son got home, he'd sneak in the garage and help him some. And he spent 4 days, you know, swapping engine in this Mustang and surprised his son with it. You know, his wife's in the shows. You know, the kids helping him out. You know, it's really, really good with engines, smart guy, but he's funny. I like Vice Grip Garage a lot.
You ever watch the two boys from Georgia there, Chattanooga?
You told me about them, but I have not seen them.
Goon Squad, man, those two boys, they started when they were in their late teens in their parents' driveway, rebuilding cars. Jeep, they rebuilt a Jeep, Mustang, the Corvette. The Mustang's what blew them up. And man, they now own a mountaintop down in frickin' Chattanooga and got a couple houses on it. And they're good, hardworking immigrant kids. Well, their parents were immigrants from the Ukraine, and they just, man, their family is tight. I love watching them. And the cars, I mean, golly, to be able to afford one of those, like a Lamborghini or something.
I might be wrong, but I think the country's at a tipping point. I think society in general is at a tipping point that at some point you're gonna have to go back to the old ways. We're at a point where now that things have gotten so askew that the family values are going to become back in fashion again. That family is going to be a lot more important. As people realize all this craziness, the one thing that you should be able to count on is your family and taking care of your own. And I think a lot of that's going to come back. You're going to look at the strength of what makes strong countries and strong communities, and it's good, wholesome people. It's good family values. It's good family ties. It's people looking. The government is not the answer to your problems. It's people helping. Generally, people helping people. That's what people ask. Beard, your channel doesn't grow that much anymore. You don't get tons of views. Why do you keep making content? Because I enjoy, putting out information that can help lift, give somebody the opportunity that they can take charge of their own life. It's amazing. Never forget the opportunity that reselling is, and with some work, hard work and effort and learning, that what you can do for yourself. It's absolutely. There are lots of ways in this world right now that you can take your passion and turn your passion into your lifelong career, your lifelong, what you want. That's what I like about Vice Grip Garage. His first video is in his damn garage, truly in his garage. I mean, he didn't even look like himself, and seeing somebody who is still himself, still out there carrying on, and just absolutely has a passion for doing what he loves, and still treats his family the way he does. I mean, good, wholesome channel. That's what I like to watch, those kind. Trina, you're right. 2020. If you didn't learn anything from the pandemic, you learned that the big government doesn't give two shits about you. Big business doesn't give two shits about you. None of those things. You're just a number to them. You think, and that's the thing that's so frustrating to eBay. All these people are wanting to form a union and do this and that because they actually think eBay cares two shits about them. If your selling account was destroyed tomorrow, eBay would carry on, and so let's get this. It's really a great learning. Everybody knows I've got it on this shirt right here. Saban's last championship. Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach, and I really miss him because I truly love the man as a teacher, a mentor. He really challenged young men, and every press conference was really, it's more about teaching process. I learned a lot from just listening to him and the way he thought. Folks, he retired on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. This last week. There was a new coach at the University of Alabama announced on the Friday. The greatest coach in college football history with 7 national championships was replaced in 48 hours and now has assembled a complete staff and is preparing to take over to run this university football, the greatest football program in the country. After the legend, in 48 hours is all. People were dying to know who the coach was. After 24 hours, it was, I was one of them. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? This seems like forever. 48. So don't forget how if Nick Saban, the greatest that ever can do it, can be replaced in 48 hours, how long do you think eBay is going to replace your ass? Georgia, I think DeVar's gonna be fine. You got to understand that you can't expect him to be Nick Saban. It's taken over 100 years of college football to get Nick Saban. There's not going to be another Nick Saban. Kirby does really well, and Kirby does a lot of those same characteristics as he was with him so long. But through the period of time, there's never going to be another Nick Saban. Just not.
Well, and case in point, like they were saying earlier about the loans, 50,000 minimum. Well, a small seller is nothing to them.
No, absolutely. And then if you guys, well, then sell on Amazon. Amazon didn't even give a fuck about big sellers. Let's be for real. Look at the so I've got some of those earbuds. What was that Chinese company from a couple of years ago? One of the largest sellers of earbuds and one of the larger electronic sellers. They decided that they did something wrong and wiped them completely out. I've got a pair of their headphones. They're really nice. I don't use them as much because when you find these at a yard sale for $10, you start using them. When you find my $10 Beats at a yard sale and they still had warranty on them at a yard sale for $10, I use these all the time. But forget the name of that company. But you're just a cog in the wheel, the means to an end. And so understand, as important as this is to most of our lives, we make our livings, we provide for our families and provide for these things. Remember what's important to your life. Remember who's important and what's important. It's time you can't get back. That's what made me so sad watching Christmas Vacation and realizing that if you're lucky you still have parents around. I was 18 years old when my dad left this planet. 18. My dad died in the 80s. Never met my never met my wife, never met my children, never met my brother's wife, his children. Okay, never met any of Terry's wives, any of the three of them. Not 1, 2, or 3, and none of his. Now my brother's got grandkids now. Never met any great grand. But you're not guaranteed the next day. You're not guaranteed anything, and so I truly think that we're going to turn this as a society and as a group. At some point, we turn the corner. All these liberals think the answer is to bring all these people up from the South. Folks, if you study them, they have a tremendous amount of family values that are still old school family values, that they support families. So I think the more that's integrated in society, it's going to backfire on a lot of people. They're not really backfire for us, but it's not going to go the way they want it to go. We're going to go back to understanding what's important. Mark says he's got those. Did you pay more than $10, Mark? $10, man. That was a hell. Impal, Chastity. Thank you so much. Impal is the look up the history of Impal and how big Impal was a seller on Amazon. Huge seller on Amazon, and Amazon said, in a matter of one day, they go, you know what? You violated our policies. You did this, you did that. Bye-bye, Impal. Bye-bye. They're gone. They're still gone to this day. You might find some of their stuff, people like me would sell some of their stuff. I could sell them used, but Impal, that's the one I was looking for. Largest RX companies left Amazon. I did not know that. But there's a lot of important things in this world, and the people that I admire the most are the ones who have, Josh, are you still in this chat?
He went to sleep.
I was angry at Josh for not being around the last part of December, but I was highly impressed with Josh and understand he is who I think he is, because a lot of it was he was upset with some of the comments, but he was also upset that he's got 2 small kids. You don't get these times. He's told you this was probably the last time they did Christmas and Santa. Very, very in the moment to realize that what's important in your life. So don't miss that, folks. It's We can talk about reselling all you want to, but at the end of the day, if that's all you've got, man, you've missed out. You can know me as the bearded picker, and I resell and that kind of stuff, but that's not. There's a lot more to each and every one of you.
My.
You know, people make jokes on something about stuff's not forever. You know, what if Joni were to ever leave you? I'm like, I just move with.
Just pack your bag. That'd be the way it would be with Megan. It'd be like, I guess we're in a polyamorous relationship now.
Gary said this Friday night show as a therapist. You know, I'm trying to make the Wednesday really some advanced concepts and really stuff that like Josh is doing and John here especially. Really talking about concepts on reselling and things that you don't find other places, because anybody can bitch to you about whatever, talk to you about shipping, can talk to you about whatever, but it's you've got to have longevity in this business. I've been very fortunate in my lack of being advanced in the business side. I'm trying to catch up on that, so I think as I go through that, it's important to help everybody else see that there's a difference. What makes Pete the OG? Is it that Pete's got a store? Is it that Pete's got a big YouTube channel? It's Pete was smart enough to surround himself with smart people and partner with people that were very good business people, and he's got a very good grasp of business concepts and longevity. You don't run a store like Pete runs for as many years as they've run it without knowing what in the hell you're doing. And it's those kind of it's those things that you've got to step up and understand. We can talk about selling whatever maxi pads all day long, but and how to pick out which it is. But if you don't manage the money side of it and the business side of it, it don't matter how good you are at finding it, you ain't gonna be around long. Ruby t-shirts, yeah. Does he have t-shirts now with the big bird on it? I mean, I've seen Pete do everything. I've seen Pete climb through trash cans. I've seen Pete.
The thing that Pete's really good at, he's really good at staying out of all the drama, and he doesn't take sides, and he is friendly to everyone, and he really is the kind of guy you'd like to get to know. And I think that's one of the best keys to his success, and it's something I had to learn the hard way. Don't be an asshole and be nice.
So who did it 99? So I met her in person at the last eBay Open. She is extraordinarily nice. And if you listen to her and understand, and she'll flat out tell you, she understood a few years ago that she had an opportunity to do much better with YouTube, but she needed to get some help, and she paid for some training to make better videos and make better content and do much better. So if you can look at her content and see a change of it, she's truly focused on it. She still sells a lot. Her husband, they have a nice family. Don't miss. She presents the same side that Josh and Haley do. Very wholesome family, very nice young lady, very smart at reselling, makes very polished videos. Don't miss. It's not a bad thing that she makes a lot of YouTube money. She still sells, but she's definitely the real deal. I have a lot of respect for her.
What was the one, Sarah? She lives close to me, down in Dexter, Missouri. Real pretty blonde lady. Probably.
I remember you talking about. She was more of an Amazon seller. Is that the one?
I can't remember. I've only watched a couple of videos because she blew up. She's at like 30-something thousand, but her and her husband, they run multiple businesses. So if you're running a business that's making over 50,000, and you got a YouTube channel that's making over like 50,000, and then you're running several other businesses. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've watched her for a long time. I watched her with Hustle on Mom. She early on.
Like Sarah Strickland, I think's her name. Yeah, that's it. Rachel, Ping G. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ping. She's awesome, and she's got a camera presence that you just, even if she's a pretty lady, but even, despite that, I find a politically correct way to say that. Despite that, she's still a hell of a YouTuber. She's just got good presence.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was in Missouri.
Yeah, she's only. I've been into her town multiple times. In fact, that's the route that I'll go down to Sykeston, to Cape, to Sykeston, through Dexter to Poplar Bluff. That's where Designing Women was. One of the ladies from Designing Women was from, and then hit straight back up to where I live at, and you could hit all of the Walmarts, and they have Dexter has a. That's where I bought a bunch of Monopoly for Millennials. Don't laugh at me, Scott. And they
So I'm just mad. Why didn't Shane hit that one then? Because Shane went all through that area that night. We were finding all that stuff.
I don't know, but I found him, and I wish he would have, because he'd have been better off to have him than me. Why are you guys laughing at me in stereo? I lost a lot of money on that, but it's okay. I've made a lot of money on eBay. But it, her local Walmart is one of them Division 1 stores, like the one over in Chester, if you're familiar with that. Like the small one door, one entry, one exit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the ones that you can still park up on the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a reseller and making money on YouTube, and even if that's your, but just it's up to you as the viewer to understand where that person, are they a teacher, are they showing you what they buy, what value are you getting for your time, and even if it's strictly entertainment, there's still nothing wrong with that.
If you look at like Harry, I don't know how much he's making, but I've heard people throw around like $300,000 a year. And I mean, golly, imagine how that would change your life if you could make $300,000, on YouTube, documenting your reselling journey. That even if he's only making $30,000 or $40,000, it's still good. I wish I could do it.
I wish me and Dusty would have gone that. We'd have had fun. Because I was halfway to his building. And so Dusty, you mentioned Dusty and Tristan. That's a great example. Folks, you're just not guaranteed tomorrow. Live your absolute best life. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. John, it's just a guess what people make. They're just, because each one is so different. You've got several YouTubers up here. Every one of our channels are different on CPM, which is the advertising pay rate. Depending on what category you're in, what type of videos you make, where the viewers are from, because they pay higher and lower rates for different countries. So if the U.S. market is but then you look at the amount of money that's been paid out. What was the news coming out today? YouTube is laying off between YouTube and Google, they're laying off 1,000 employees.
Yeah,
that's massive, because there's been what's called an ad apocalypse on YouTube. If you guys did not know about that, the pay rates and the amount of money, they started accusing Google of not living up to their contracts about a year ago, and now all of a sudden, all this stuff is, ad rates have gone down, money has gone down, and now employees are going away. Don't miss that. Pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you're thinking. You spend all of this. That's why I've always spent my time. Like, I bought this building off of what I made on eBay. I've got cars and my farm and stuff like that I've worked hard and it's all eBay that has paid for all this. I would hate to imagine that I would build up like a YouTube channel and then YouTube come out and be like, "Hey, sorry guys, we can't pay you much anymore." That would be crazy.
So there were 3 products in here. I bought 4 of one and 2 of one and 2 of one. I've already sold out of one of them already. So that was a great experiment. So I guess I'll go back there tomorrow and buy the rest of whatever they had.
You heard what Etsy's the CEO of Etsy said, I think in November. He said that that Temu and Jenna says it's called Sheen, but I don't know if it's Shine, Shein. Those 2 sites are throwing money just that they can't match to Google for their ads. So that might be a big problem that everyone's facing, not only Etsy, but eBay and the others.
So there, people are talking about figuring out what people make. So there's a site called Social Blade.
Yep.
If you put in the YouTube channel, it'll give you an estimate based on views and subscriptions what it thinks someone makes. What I would caution you is it's generally low.
That's very wrong. That's very wrong.
If it's telling you they're making $10,000 a month, you can probably double it. I mean, there's
multiply that by 5.
Sometimes 5. Sometimes it's wildly wrong.
John's over there swinging his. He's like, look at all the. Everybody go look up flipping ain't easy real quick.
People know what I make. Talk about it.
Yeah, so Trina, that's so there are a lot of people right now. She says her daughter showing her life, lives alone in an RV, works for now. There are a lot of people giving RV life and van life is popular on YouTube. It's waned a little bit on the social media. A lot of that's because a lot of the bigger ones have quit. They only do it for a few years, and now they're transitioning. I can't tell you how many of the ones that I used to watch don't even do vans anymore, or don't live in RVs or anything. It's the vast majority of them have either bought land somewhere or have done something permanent.
They'll convert over to like off grid living or something like that because that pays really good. Yeah, CPM on that's pretty high. I thought about doing a farm, because we have a farm. I thought about doing something like that, but it's just so much work.
So much work.
It is.
Oh yeah, Tacos A Beer's killing it. With that, I can say some land and some oceanfront property. I think George Strait said it was in Arizona. We'll say so.
Yeah. You and I are doing about the same. So I think they've actually may have fixed it a little bit. It's from my perspective, it's like 2 to 3 times what you see is.
So Biff Boffo, I started watching that guy when he had because he started out in a Volkswagen. When I started watching him, he had a Volkswagen. He had a Vanagon. He was doing winter van life and a Volkswagen Vanagon. That dude is one hell of a filmmaker. So if you guys have never heard of it, if you watch any kind of van life, living the van life, his video skills and story skills and stuff and technical skills are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. He did a cool series where he drove all the way to the Arctic Circle, the Arctic Ocean and back. That guy, I think he's still got the Vanagon, but now he's got the Mercedes van that he built. That guy's man.
Well, here's a channel that I've followed for a long time. I think it has great production value and it's really interesting. This guy goes to all the different dangerous countries and the dangerous slums in those countries. It's called Indigo Traveler. Guy's from New Zealand, and he went to North Korea. He went all these places, and it's just interesting. I mean, he went to all the slums, and he goes to Sudan. He goes all over the world. Really good show.
Yeah,
I got Jenna hooked on it. She thought I was crazy for watching it, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I just subscribe to him. I'll check him out.
I was gonna say something about Temu though, and yeah, they're on a blazing run and getting huge, but it could get slowed down a little bit because they are using a loophole to avoid taxation and inspection from 1938, and they're not too happy about that, and they want to reduce it.
So the
Somebody on their Commodore 64.
so the one that I watch that travels the world is Bald and Bankrupt. He's been one of my favorite YouTubers for several years now. So he's obsessed with Russia and the Soviet Union, and so he's been to all the Soviet bloc countries and been all over. All over the world, but he just makes friends with the locals. Yeah, Bald and Bankrupt. What? Absolutely, he's pushing up to 4 million right now. That's an amazing channel. That dude is he is great.
Has he been to Chernobyl?
Yes, he's been close there because he had radiation stuff as he visited some of the small villages in that area.
Yeah,
to let him know if he was too close. Because he rented a small vehicle and ended up having to walk. I forget how many miles into it. Yeah, he met a what are the Russian grandmas called? Babushkas. He met some babushkas and stuff that were still living out there and had never moved. Yeah, so Bald and Bankrupt. Todd's going to bed.
His hands fell asleep.
His hand fell asleep.
What is SWB? Gary. So Go Dog Go. Gary says he's a fan of Harold Balder. He's another traveler. So Harold. So there's three of them to get together every now and then. Harold, Simon, and Bald get together every now and then. I watch the three of them. Started watching Harold because he wears an Alabama hat a lot. Somebody's like, there's this guy that travels all over the world that wears an Alabama cap. I'm like, all right, I'll start watching him. And I started watching Harold Balder because he has an black Alabama cap.
Forget the content, just the cap, right?
Soft white underbelly channel. All right.
That's a good. My wife watches that. That's a good channel. You know, that would be a great channel. I'm sure somebody already has it out there, but create a channel talking about other channels that people should watch, because it's so hard to find good content on YouTube because so much is uploaded. I think that'd be a neat thing.
Yeah, the problem with YouTube too is there's so much of these faceless, nameless channels that have gotten where AI is making them, and if I get the feeling that's what the channel I'm looking at, I will not watch it.
Roman does that.
Roman, I'm not watching your shit, Roman. I mean, I don't belittle anybody. I mean, if that's if you make money on it and that, hey, go for it, man. It's
the racket is those white noise channels, like the ones that show the fireplaces or the rainstorms. The people can't sleep. I mean, one night I couldn't sleep. I actually did put one on, and I was surprised by how many people in the middle of the night were actually listening to that on the live stream.
Yeah, Simon. The channel name. His name is Simon Wilson. He had a cool one that he does all kinds of travel, and so when the World Cup was going on, he's traveling to whoever wins it. That's that's the country he's traveling to, and so wherever the games were. And there's another one that I'm going to go to whenever he lands somewhere. The next place I'll go is the first person I meet who tells me where they're from. I'm gonna go to their city they live. He's just got some interesting ways of picking where he travels to. His name is Simon Wilson.
My son is watching one where there's a guy that's trying to get into all the college stadiums, when there's not a game.
So Go to 08 is reminding me that UPS rate changes start Monday. So Go to 08, here's what I think about that. I don't pay any attention to it. I mean, I try not to be a news channel. I'm not going to be
Rockstar.
yeah, Rockstar. I'm not going to be the one that tells you, because I don't think okay. So the postage change is important for you for one reason. You need to change. You need to alter your business plan so that it accounts for the 5% or whatever the rate is. But it's not going to mean you're not. If the postal service raises shipping by 5% and that's the reason why you quit reselling, what the fuck? It's a cost that's going to be passed on to the consumer. It's not really adjust your business plans one time and move on. And when we're talking 5%, if you're using a site like Pirate Ship had an email a couple weeks ago about rates being lowered and different costs. So if there's ways to get around this, you just got to be smart enough to figure this out. Yeah, and yes, Jennifer, we're still on.
Well, I think the reason why I bring that up is because, and he said Monday, it's not, that's the 22nd. It's the rates start the 21st. So if you're running your postage even on Sunday, it's too late. So if you have anything that's sold today or tomorrow, and you're like me and normally just wait until ship it out on Monday. If you wait till Sunday to run those labels, it's going to be more than what you charged your buyer for on Friday and Saturday. So you want to get those done tomorrow.
You guys are still yapping?
Oh yeah, we're still
Yeah.
Don't
What?
you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
You hadn't even come in here and said hello to me, so I was waiting for that.
You were not freaking waiting for me.
I was just sitting here waiting.
Yeah.
we're talking about-
I have drank this much liquor and I'm high, so I don't know what I'm doing.
This live isn't going to be live much longer.
Yeah, especially
you had to leave.
if the pain comes back from me busting my ass in the ice.
I sure hope you start to wear some golf shoes or something.
Oh, another one. Look out.
More weed. I'm not going to feel this for a while. I'm going to be high as hell tomorrow to deal with this.
Did you get hurt, Scott?
Just sore.
Mostly.
Landed like right here.
Got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, just his ego.
Yeah.
Wrist hurts, elbow hurts, shoulder hurts.
You need to be a little.
I was messing with Joni with a mouse, and Karma just bit me in the ass.
That was for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've killed 7 mice in the house this week.
Oh,
The last one today was still alive in the glue trap, so I was chasing around the kitchen with it. And then I went to throw it away outside when I fell.
that is karma. See what you get?
What?
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I get. Yeah, so we live up against a field, so we're the last house in the neighborhood, so there's an open field there. So every winter we deal with these idiots. They got the truck a couple weeks ago. I'm building traps right now to kill them all. So I'm calling it Mauschwitz.
Mauschwitz.
Yeah, our son that moved to Texas. Every time he comes home, there's another dead mouse in the garage, and he's like, "I have never seen so many dead mice in my life."
Yeah.
I killed 2 in the van last week. It's been terrible. They've been everywhere.
Jeez. Well, they're looking for warmth. You guys are getting some wacky weather.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be 22.
Oh, hell no.
We're gonna get rain here on Sunday through Tuesday, so tomorrow's gonna be the best day of the week.
It's gonna rain.
We'll be by this time next week. We'll be 65 in the daytime.
It's gonna rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Back where life is supposed to be.
Ooh. Next week it's gonna be in the mid-70s.
Where are you living at?
He's outside of LA, Chino Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're probably like what, 2.5 hours from me. Where you at? Vegas? Or you're in Vegas, basically, right?
Yeah, Vegas.
So yeah.
Dave's one of them LA hustlers, huh?
Just over the hill. Weather's pretty much the same there, I guess it gets a little colder maybe at night for you guys, or
A little colder at night, yeah.
So unless somebody else wants us to talk, so Kent wants me to give y'all the weather forecast before we go. Let's see, Kent. Let's see what she has to say about this. Oh shit.
Lemmings like this weather. Are you a fucking lemming?
I haven't heard that for a while.
I don't know. Let's make her say it again. Let's make her say something else.
Lemmings like this weather. Are you a fucking lemming?
Okay. Yeah, she can come up with better than that.
Cold, fucking, snowy bullshit.
There we go. That's exactly what I say.
And he said, my son is in Seguin, Texas.
Yeah, we're actually going to be in the mid 40s tomorrow. We'll be fine.
Hey, I got a
that
replay.
is not even close.
I know.
Him.
I got a replay of Scott this morning. I want to share with everyone watching.
Oh my god.
Was I wearing my 3X's?
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh. This is what happens when you give John a new tool.
New show?
Uh-oh.
Kind of, not really.
No, that was
Oh, you were there trying to mid-journey it?
Mid-journey.
Yeah.
Me off.
Tell it to be more angry.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
You forgot that I was holding the mouse.
Mouse.
Yes.
It is about an hour from Austin, an hour from San Antonio. I don't know in which direction because I'm not looking at a map right now, but I know that when I fly in there next month, I'm flying into Austin, and it's going to take him an hour to come get me. So that's all I really know. I know there's a lot of rural parts to it, but there's also his grandmother just bought a house that is in a new housing tract, new development, but it's in one track all by itself in the middle of freaking nowhere.
So Larry, first Joni decided, I told her I fell down and she was make sure I wasn't hurt, and then the next thing out of her mouth was, "That's what you fucking get, fucking with me." And then
I would have done.
It was take me to Trader Joe's, take me to Walmart. If we get to Walmart, I'm like, hold on to something getting out of the truck. Because she's like, there's a parking place closer up front. It's solid ice. And I look over there, and she is freaking spread eagle, holding onto the door, holding onto the seat. She's like, I held on. I'm like, so I go up there to help. I go around sliding to make her stay. And, she gets home. She's like, I think I have taken out my ankle hurts from my split. So yeah, we can never live in the ice. If it gets any worse, we'll move to South Alabama. I'm like, I'm not spending the next 7 hours in the emergency room because you bust your ass in a Walmart parking lot. For those of you don't know, she had her 4 back surgeries. She has scaffolding in her back. She has titanium rods with multi-level fusions. Her back's a mess, so she can't afford to.
No. She needed to stay hunkered down in the house till that stuff melts.
She got tripped by one of the dogs in the bedroom a couple weeks ago, and it took like all week to get over that.
Oh my god! Oh, I know the feeling. I've got hardware in my ankle and my wrists, and that stuff's no joke.
You're probably a couple surgeries behind her, though.
I am quite a few. Yeah.
She's at 17 since we've been together.
Jesus. That's a lot. It's too many for one body.
I had a friend, one of my mother's best friends, Deb. What a wonderful human being she was. When she passed away at the age of 58 or 59, she'd had 60 surgeries.
Oh my gosh.
The absolute toughest person I ever met. God, that was a tough woman.
Jesus.
She thought I was nuts.
Yes, Jovial, that is absolutely correct. They hurt like a son of a gun. John doesn't understand it. Like, my wrist and my ankle hurt. He's like, it's not that cold. I'm like,
Oh no, you can go.
you go fuck yourself because yes, it hurts like a son of a bitch.
I got some titanium in my wrist, man.
But Jody hurts with the cold like that, but her biggest thing is the pressure changes. She can really feel
Oh,
as the pressure changes. She's like, are we having bad weather? Because I feel like hell. So
Yeah.
as systems move through the day before, she'll feel bad the day before due to the pressure gradients, the pressure changes.
yeah, mine's not so much pressure. I mean, I can feel it, but it's not as bad as when it gets cold.
Mark, Sadie is a girl's name. He used to be Mrs. Sadie, but now he's Mr. Sadie. He transitioned.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I forgot.
So, Mark, if you didn't know, Mr. Sadie's name is actually Larry. Sadie was his dog.
Oh,
He named the channel. He named the channel after his dog. He loved his dog that much. So that's the story. That's the story of Larry. Most people know that. They're chiming in the chat.
Are you going?
Larry, I'm glad I said go. Johnny's had 4 back surgeries, and of those 4 back surgeries, 2 of them were multi-level fusions.
That's a lot.
And the last one was here and the back at the same time, front and back. The worst one was the lower one where they put the rods in, where they did. She had staples in the front and the back. Her recovery was just very painful when how do you get comfortable when they cut you in the front and the back and you got staples in the front and the back?
Yeah, there is no comfort there.
That was the worst. That was the absolute worst one. Well, I'm gonna shut this joker down. John's gonna have to work harder on Mid-Journey for another day.
No.
It ain't cooperating.
Oh.
He's trying. Looks more like.
I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Ship all your stuff tomorrow. Save a couple cents.
There you go.
And roll tide.
Keep on trucking.
East side.
East Tide.
Roll tide.